Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button again, please. Wait a minute. Sorry about that. Again, please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. We are rolling to, where are we rolling to? Where are we rolling to? Nigeria next month, August 2nd through the 11th. August 2nd to the 11th, we're rolling to Nigeria. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo.Africa. We are also rolling to Zanzibar and Kenya in September. And then we are going to Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone in November, and Benin in January. If you're interested in joining, please visit Danfo.Africa to learn more. And guys, this is the site right here. Again, this is the site. Danfo.Africa. Bam, boom, boom, bam. Check us out. Again, check us out. Check us out. All right, so that's it right there. All the information, where all we're going is there. And also check out the documentary, you guys. I have a documentary, In Search of Uhuru. This is going to be we want this to be the number one documentary, the number one African related documentary, Africa focused documentary in the world. So I need you to go to documentary, Search of Uhuru, and buy the documentary. Okay, it's streamed. All right, so there you go. Danfo.Africa. Click on documentary. Buy the documentary. This is my theory. Okay, with the topic at hand, the real reason many Black Americans claim Hebrew and Indigenous identity. Again, I should have changed it to many, because this is not a representation of all of us. So I should have changed it to, let me see if I could change it real quick, because the real reason many, well, we're going to say some. I'm going to say some. That's fair. We'll say some. I think I could do it in my YouTube, because it's not an absolute. So let me just change this real quick, because is there content? I could change it on here somewhere live. All right, the real reason, some. There we go. Yeah, because I don't think all claim Well, no, I think many would mean majority. All right, there we go. All right, we're back. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. All right, let me close this out. Bam. All right, that's closed out. Okay. Diners, your show last night had me crying. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, dude, this is the reality. This is my theory. Okay. Number one, all right, when you deal with Israel and you deal with the United States of America, you're dealing with two of the most powerful, no matter what you say about America, no matter what you say about Israel, you're dealing with two of the most powerful countries in the world. And you have people who want to attach themselves to that power and say that they originate from these places because for some odd reason in their twisted heads, they think that one day, we'll use Israel as an example, that the white Israelis that are there, that one day the prophecy, someone's gonna come down from the sky and say, "Hey, black Israelis, hey, white Israelis or Hebrews, whatever. The black man is the real Hebrew. Therefore, white Israeli, you have to go. And all the resources, all the infrastructure that's built, you need to give it to the black Hebrews. You have people who really believe this stuff. Same thing with America. Same thing with America. You have people who just well, it's a little bit deeper, and this is also applies to the black Hebrews. Guys, I understand the pain that was afflicted upon us via the slave trade. I get it. I understand how, but when it comes to slavery, chattel slavery, how rough it was. I trust me, I get it. Okay, but that's just the reality. That's what happened. And many of us have to create these, I don't know, these alternative realities to kind of deal with the reality of slavery and the slave trade. And now we, the original and indigenous Aboriginal blacks of America, I done heard the slave trade happen in reverse. I done heard the white man brought in the Indians from the Bering Strait and switched us out. It was a swap. I've heard it all. And this is all due to the reality that a lot of us cannot get over the slave trade, slavery. That's what this is all about. That's what this really is about, all about. I love to have Mike TV come on. He could give me the argument for African Americans being Native Americans. He's more than welcome. Now there are exceptions to the rules. Are some of us freemen? Yes. There's some black Africans intermingle and integrate with with Africans. I mean, with Indians, Native Americans. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not denying that it happened, but it's few in between. But also, this is the problem with this whole slavery thing. I mean, not slavery. This we the black Aboriginal thing. You have no culture. What do I mean? Harlem Renaissance, Martin Delany, all our great black leaders and thinkers and thought leaders, none of them claim to be black aboriginals. They knew who they were. They know who they are. So I would like to know, what is black aboriginal culture? What's black aboriginal contribution to black people? Because I could point out the connection between Black America, African Americans, and Africa easily, from the culture to everything. None of these folks claim to be black aboriginals. So Martin Luther King Jr. is Mende. All right, that's already been settled. I believe that was so Martin Luther King Jr. There we go. I'm sorry. Martin Luther King Jr., his son, is Mende. So that's the end of that. No black aboriginal, no Indians. Sierra Leone. But guys, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in after the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in after the conversation. Also, you are more than welcome to super chat, cash app, all that good stuff. I said Mende, sir. Mende. Okay. Well, his son is of Mende descent. So all right, go ahead, M.
Thank you, sir. I want to touch on two things. Yes, it's true. I did say you was enabling the Africans and other people when they spew negativity against the Black Americans.
Let me stop you. Do you spew negativity towards Africans?
Yes, but I was going to
okay.
why.
So just stop. So go ahead.
But I was going to explain why I got that thought. Now, when you think about the white man,
but you will admit that you also spew negativity towards Africans, correct?
yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, all right, so let's move on. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say basically, so forget that then. Just move on. So as far as the topic, Black Americans, some Black Americans, you say, consider themselves Hebrew Israelites, indigenous. I would say not only do we consider ourselves or claim to be that, we also claim to be Black Greeks, the Divine Nine, and I don't never see anybody criticizing that. They talk about the boys talk about the Minoans, the Messenians, Etruscans. They was all black, so therefore we're going to claim the Black Greek alphabets and have these organizations with immense power. And a lot of these organizations go to Africa. Like I heard one of your shows.
So I'm a Kappa, so I'm part of a Black Greek organization.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, hold on. No, let me finish. We're not claiming to be Black Greek, as in Greek. We're just part of a Greek organization because our organizations use the Greek alphabet.
But I'm saying when Du Bois was teaching, J.A. Rogers, his book, Nature Knows No Color Line, Du Bois was on that decades before, but he was saying the Greeks, it's actually true, but the Greeks prior to the Athens, Athenia, and all of that, they were called Minoans. and they had these advanced architecture similar to like these apartment buildings. They had running water. Actually, when I was in architecture history, we actually learned about them, and they actually are black though. It's actually true, and nobody knows where they came from. And then when they was destroyed by the Mycenaeans, they destroyed all of the technology. So for the next 2,000 years, they had no running water, but they had running water pipes and sewer systems 2,000 years ago in Greece. But I'm saying the reason I'm bringing it up is that's never criticized. It's actually admired, like the Divine Nine, that's like an exclusive group and they have to be pledged in. But it's the same thing as somebody claiming to be a Israelite, which is the Phoenicians. Because if you look at the original Hebrew alphabet, it's the Phoenician alphabet. It's called Proto-Greek or Ancient Greek. And the language itself is called Afro-Asiatic, which I actually mentioned yesterday. As far as the original name of Africa was part of Asia. You had Asia Minor, Asia Major, and you could actually look it up. It's an Afro-Asiatic language group, which is like Hebrew, Egyptian, and all Arabic. They call it Afro-Asiatic, not Afro-African. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying nobody never criticized the Greeks for doing it, but they criticize the Muslims, the Moors. Like all of these are ancient civilizations. The Egyptians are ancient civilizations, the Moors, the Black Greeks, the Phoenicians, but we get criticized, or even the ancient Americans, because they found ancient Hebrew in America, the Ten Commandments and whatnot. But we only get criticized for the things that the non-Greeks are doing, but they are, even the Masons itself, you see what I'm saying? But nobody never criticized the Black Greeks for doing the same thing. And then I was gonna mention this in my other, synopsis before you said forget about it. We are a small group, but our numbers is equivalent to one of the great Nigerian groups. Like in numbers, we'll probably have the same count as the Igbo, the Yoruba, or the Hausa. They probably got 45 million. So we just like a tribe, a big tribe. We don't really like you see what I'm saying? Why is the whole world hating on us? And that's what I was getting at before. You say forget about it, and then my next point was basically nobody never criticized the Black Greeks for doing the same thing.
All right, let me pass. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, I mean, greetings to everyone. Thank you very much, Brother Dinus, for the great work you do, and greetings to you, chats. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and please support the channel because this is one of the best channels out there, no doubt about it. Please and try and respect as well when people come on because the work we're doing here is really great. We're building bridges. Even sometimes we do disagree with one another. It's part of life, but it'd be nice not to throw insults. But obviously, I can see why some people, including me, will defend myself. Will be forced to defend myself and also defend my group of people. But that being said, look, I mean, we African people of West African descent, I will refer to the Niger Congo group of people. We have had loads of things to be proud of that we have achieved through our history. And this is why it's very important to learn our history in West Africa, um, learn it from different angle, so we can actually embrace our ancient history, our current culture, to where we are today, to know where basically we have to know where we came from, who we are as people, to where we're going. That will help also for us to have children. Like when my boy go to school, they always teach them about the Vikings, Saxons. You come here and tell me about the Romans. Like where there was a time where I feel like he feels so excluded. And I had to remind him, I said, do you know who are the real Romans? And he's like, no. I said, the Romans were made up of people on the Iberian Peninsula to North African and even some African people of black African descent. He was quite shocked. And these are not things that been taught in school properly. But it's when you dig into it, you realize, oh, okay. But I live in the UK, right, where history, sometimes they actually do expose it, if I'm honest with you. The first time, me myself, I realized this country they called the United Kingdom. that the actual, Roman emperor, the military general who actually conquered the UK during the days of the Roman Empire, he was actually African. I never knew this until I was on a late night watching BBC 4 documentary, that came from the British archive. The title was The Last Black Roman Emperor. He's the one that built the city of Bath. Okay, he's a Salvan, he's a Tuareg of African descent from southern Libya. He built Bath, and Bath is one of the most prestigious city in the UK because it was they call it Bath because it's where they have it's like a ancient bath where they thought it was the water the water is actually curable. It cures some type of disease. It's quite special and sacred to the UK, and it still is in some type of way. And basically, he was the general who conquered the UK. So when you do mapping of the UK, you can see his military barracks. Basically, there's a scan that they do from the skies. You can see his barracks. How he managed to set up all these forts. And his son was too weak to take over. And then obviously the Roman Empire started crumbling. So, what does that mean? We have to claim to be Romans? No, because that was mixed of people who are people of different descent. And those days, I agree where you're coming from. History wasn't just based on color; it was all based on merit. And then you go back to the Moors. The Moors were a mix of people of all races, but majority non-Africans. But however, there were a lot of Africans in there. Okay, does that mean we have to claim that as people of West African descent? No, because it's not mainly known as a West African empire. But however, we do have empires in West Africa. We, or people of Niger Congo, can claim to be actually being in the forefront of this empire. It will go back to the Ghana Empire, the Ghana Empire, the Almoravid dynasty that led to the proper conquest of Spain. Where gold in Senegal were used to set up institution and enlightenment in Europe. This is not me saying this. Most of the archive in Europe saying the Islamic conquest, the black people and the Berber Tuareg who conquered Spain and brought Islam, they're the one that brought enlightenment. Basically, they came to Europe and educate Europeans about science, and technology. They are kind of advanced them to the level where they find themselves today. So these were West African heavily involved in this. Not only they were heavily involved in conquering it because they couldn't do it themselves until they had the people of the Ghana Empire. That's me. I don't want to mention my tribe in there because people are going to claim, oh, this guy is very tribalistic. Well, if you know my ethnic group, I'm not going to mention it. They were one of the forefront in this conquest, okay? When it comes to the Calvary, the name of the Calvary is there. So they managed to achieve all this. And then you have the great, obviously you had the great Ghana Empire before that. Then you have the Almoravid dynasty. Then you have the great Mali Empire. You have the Songhai Empire. You have the Oyo. You have the Benin. People who be making, casting iron for like centuries. These are things that we could be proud of as people of, Niger Congo people. These are very. If you just put all this together, okay, these are things that Europeans wrote about. Okay, Europeans came to if you go to the British archive, Europeans have books about going to Timbuktu in Mali, where going to Timbuktu back in the days, it's like going to in the dark age. It's like someone going to New York from Africa because it's where they used to go and land. We should be holding on to this sort of history, this sort of people. Stop holding up to other people that don't belong to us. Because genetically, we're not the same. We might have mixed with them in some form of way, but really, truly, we're not the same people. We're people of Niger Congo descent, and linguistically, in the past, our father's side also actually say the same thing, that we actually, we got this Halpro group of that A1B1, AM2, that actually spread out to the entire region of West Africa, including my ancestral side from the father's side. So, and that's the same genealogy that in people of Africa, the Americans in the diaspora, Caribbean, African American, and the South Americans carry. So let's just stick to that. Thank you very much. I'll pass the mic.
All right, go ahead, Babaliko, go ahead.
Yes, the Hebrews, right? Because I have cousins and and friends that is heap with IUISC and IUIN. And what it was telling me is what we was debating, because I'm a Pan-Africanist, them is Hebrews, and what they were saying is we bring out books, and they were saying they believe there's Hebrew Israelites, and they was fleeing from Roman persecution in the Middle East, so they don't believe that we are from Africa. Because what they're saying is Africa didn't sell their own people. Africans sell people that flee into Africa that look like them.
That's just all pseudo.
Hey,
yeah, that's what the Hebrew Israelites saying. That we was in the Middle East and we free, we run to in Africa, and Africa sell those people. They didn't sell their people. That don't make any sense. How Africans can sell the old tribe. That's what they think.
Hey, nigga, we ain't your people.
Hey, hold on, one mic. Hold on, one mic. So Afro Ham, I'm gonna give you a warning, guys. If you use the N-word on here, it's a fine or you gotta drop off.
Bro, that's our word.
So you're a Hebrew, and so you are a Hebrew.
Stand y'all Africans. Nah, this is why I can't stand y'all.
So why'd you call in?
I called in to bake you.
Let Babaliko, don't interrupt. Go ahead, Babaliko.
Yeah. So that's what they was saying. And I bring out books.
Hello? Yes.
Nah, mute your mic, Niners.
I'm doing well. I was just following up. So how
Niners, mute your mic, brother.
The prophet Amos says that that the Israelites are black, by the way.
Yeah, so that's what they believe, which I believe in. The Israelites are black. That is true. That is 100% true. I believe the Israelite is black. The ones in Israel, it's perpetrating a culture that's not their own. So I do believe that.
Wait, so the Jews are really non-Jews? Like
well, the Jews are really black people. The Jews are black.
The people that call themselves Jews.
Right, the so-called Ashkenazi. They call them Ashkenazi.
Hey, nigga, you gonna prove that, or you gonna be making claims?
No, it's proven.
You said it again, man. You said it again. You said the N-word again.
Bro, you can pay the tariff or jump off, bro. Since
hold on. Hey, Afro Ham, you gotta go, or you gotta pay your fine.
Nah, nigga, you're.
All right, go ahead.
Fucking
yeah, so I believe we are the Jews. I believe that. I believe in preference, but I believe a lot of blacks are Jews. That's why when you read into the Bible, it say that we in Deuteronomy 28:68 chapter did say that the real Jews going to be sold into Egypt again, and there you shall be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, which means slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy you. But that buys the Greek word, which means redeem you. So I do believe, if you really read through certain texts in the Bible, that we are the Jews. We are the true children of Israel. That's why we're suffering so much today, because we not, doing what we're supposed to do. So I do believe that.
Did you go on a ship to Egypt? When was the last time you?
Egypt means bondage.
Oh, so Babaliko, do you believe you are a Jew?
Yes, I believe we are.
Oh Lord.
Israel.
I think you're LARPing. You know what LARPing is?
We are the. I believe it's a part that we are the children of Israel, because if you
Bob, let me ask you this: what's the obsession with Israel? Black people's obsession with Israel. I don't get it.
I think
it's because it's mentioned in the Bible as a group. That's really the main thing.
I believe that we've been hijacked. I believe that we've been hijacked of our culture, and that's the problem. We've been hijacked.
Well, hold on 1 second. Jewish apologetics. It's not your turn yet. You will get your chance. But I don't understand black folks' obsession. Babaliko, have you traveled outside of the country before?
Yes.
Like, have you traveled to Africa before?
Yes, I've been to Ghana and I've been to South Africa.
So, like, did you go to the Kumasi, like the Ashanti region?
I've been to Kumasi. I've been to where they sold.
So I just don't understand the obsession with the Bible when you have Kumasi, when you have Yoruba, when you have I just don't get it.
No, I understand what you're saying. I didn't believe it too until I start reading into certain things that it was telling me, and we start bringing books together and going into from Hebrews to from Negroes to Hebrews. I have all that books here, so I do believe.
But what in those books actually prove? Because when we were so we were Yoruba, we were Igbo, we were Mende, we were like nobody was claiming to be a Jew or Hebrew.
But that's what they're saying. They're saying when we flee into Africa,
who said that? Who?
The Hebrews. That's what they were saying.
Oh Lord, the
Hebrews
that claim to be Hebrews. That just started.
Right. Well, so when we flee into Africa, we pick up the culture like just in America. That's why we say we Black Americans. So they're saying it's the same thing that happened back then. We pick up a lot of African cultures because if you look at some of them African, they do different things. Some of them had a lip. Some of them do the thing cut in the face. They have different cultures. So they're saying we don't do those stuff, to some of them Africans. So how we could have tell that we wasn't from there. And they're saying, I don't know, that's where they say most of us come from Igbo. That's what they were saying. And a lot of our people are in Ethiopia because Ethiopia have a lot of Jews as well. I don't know if you know that.
But they're Falashans and they consider themselves Ethiopians, but they're Falashans. But there's an actual documented history of like Ethiopia's interaction with Israel.
Yeah, but Donis, it had to have some connection there because why would you?
There's no connection.
So you don't think we have nothing to do with Israel? We not know?
Absolutely not.
Hey,
there's nothing documented. I mean, it's very clear. Every ethnic group has their own gods. They have their own creation story. They have their own language. They have their own everything. It's just, again, my theory is because white people value romanticize the Bible and Israel, we just pop them and say, "Oh,
yeah." But the Bible is not a white man. The Bible is not a white man's book, Donis.
Hey, Donis, why do Israel accept the Black Israelites?
Say again.
Why do Israel accept the Black Hebrew Israelites, and why do they give them land?
Can I help you guys?
No. We gotta pass the mic. We got more people on the panel.
Okay. Okay.
Babaliko, say that one more time.
Yeah, I don't believe the white man. The Bible is a white man's book. I believe the
okay. So I grew up a Christian. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
The most popular version of the Bible that I saw all Black people with was the King James version.
Yes, 16. Okay. Yeah, the King James version. But if you read the Bible, right, Donis, and if it's a white man book, why would the lady on the well mistaken Jesus for Egyptian? Why would Moses was in Pharaoh land all these years and they think he was a Pharaoh? And we know those people.
When you go to Egypt, there's no documented history of a Jesus or a Moses going to those places at all.
You think there's just is made up stories in the Bible?
I think it's just made up stories. I think it's all allegory and stories.
It could be.
There's no written story of when you go to Egypt of any Moses, any Jesus.
So you've been to Egypt,
but they have documented history of all those pharaohs, and those pharaohs their bodies are still there.
And why did they take off all the nose? I was looking at the documentary.
Well, that's different from what we're talking about. Yeah, that's different. They took off the nose, but there's just no.
Babaliko, I will help you.
When is your turn, Africa? There's no documented history of any group of people called the Jews or the Hebrews from Israel being lost in Egypt or whatever. It's not there.
Okay.
It's just not there. Go ahead, Ngolo.
Good afternoon, brother. Bro, just to be honest, bro, this is embarrassing, bro. Like, it's just honestly is utterly disgusting and embarrassing, bro. Like, just to hear the stuff that these are grown men, adults, just going with this nonsense. No anthropologist, no historian, no archaeologist will corroborate none of the stuff y'all be saying, bro. Like, can y'all please do primary source research before you make these crazy claims? It's real, and it's not even as individuals, y'all are not reflecting on yourselves. Y'all reflecting on us as a people, bro. Like, it's too much information readily available to be just spewing this nonsense that y'all be coming on here spewing. Like, when are we finna be adults, man?
That's right.
None of the stuff y'all are talking about, you can provide no mainstream. I don't even like the term. No reputable scholar will corroborate none of the stuff that y'all just claim. Anything. That whole Hebrews, the Negro stuff is nonsense, bro. Like dude is just just making up pseudo stories. It's mythology. It's real time mythology. And when it comes to all of this stuff, is just a reflection of the pathology that we have. These people done did a number on us, man, for real. Like most of our people are honestly ashamed to be what we are. And we create these crazy stories. We create these crazy, just mythology tales, bro. Like I don't know what it's gonna take to stop. Like, to be honest, bro, it seems like this is the mindset. This is the MO of the average person. Like, it's gotten to this point so bad. Like, it's rare that I actually hear somebody that has actual facts that are rooted in real history, archaeology, and science and genetics. Like, I don't know what's happened to our people, bro. So just on, but it gotta stop. Like, there has to be something to organize to where the youth does not get infiltrated with this nonsense, bro. Because we're not gonna have any type of organization if this continues. But I'll let somebody else talk.
Wow, what an educated guy.
All right, let me go ahead, Burkina Bay, go ahead.
No.
Greetings, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How you doing, brother Ngolo? It's been a minute.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to disagree with you, okay? But it's simply just based on things that I discovered, okay? So I'll start this way. I'll start with one discovery that I made, okay? There's one initial discovery that I found out about elementary, not all African countries. I'm not talking about all West African countries, but there's many West African countries that teach in elementary schools that most of them came from Sudan, all right? And this is the first discovery that I made. And when I discovered about this teaching in those elementary schools, but then I started wondering, how is it that they're teaching this to the kids? Because we all know that the colonial powers had like a certain influence on what they teach to those Africans, right? So yeah, now the colonial influence is there. But here's the thing. I found out that the colonial powers made sure for them to learn about this, but they made sure also not to tell them where those Sudanese came from, all right? So by researching and digging, then I found out, I fell on I discovered a scholar after the name of Thomas, okay? He's from the Congo. He made his conferences in French, but there are translations out there, you know? And another time, maybe if Dianis allows it, another time I could bring his video and play it here for everybody to learn, right? So
are you talking about Theophile Obenga?
No, not Obenga. I'm talking about Thomas. In French, his name is Thomas, all right? But he's from the Congo. And but I know Obenga, and it's not Obenga. But yeah, so what I discovered with that guy, I actually spoke to the guy on the phone. I spoke to the guy on the phone, actually, because I looked into his stuff and I contacted the guy. I was so impressed, right? So based on what I discovered in his teaching, right, is that the proper way to pronounce Sudan, right? The proper way to pronounce Sudan, because we all say Sudan, but the proper way to pronounce it is Soyuda, all right? Soyuda. Sure. Soyuda in ancient Hebrew, it means, so means land, and Yuda means like Yuda, like the ancestor Yuda, Judah, right?
Brother, that's pseudo. Sudan is Arabic. That's pseudo. That's pseudo nonsense.
Sudan was Nubia.
Su does not mean land.
Sudan is Sudan comes from Bilad out of Sudan. That's Arabic. It means land of the black.
But wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. So just let me finish, and then you guys will correct me however you want. All right, brother. So wait a minute. Now, what happened is that apparently, based on this guy's research, like I told you, I can bring all his information to you if Dianis allows me to play them, right? But yeah, he found out that the very first country that a group of people came from Israel created in Africa, right? The very first country was Sudan, all right? And the people who created this country initially came from Israel after year 55, okay? But then you see the current Sudan is very
so you're
small.
saying, so hold on, so slow down. So you're saying that that's not true because Nubia ruled, the Nubians ruled Kemet, Egypt.
Let me finish
before
first. Let me
55.
finish.
What are you talking about?
Let me finish first. So when
Oh man, because nah, we
This
can't.
is all
let me
nonsense,
finish.
bro.
Let me finish.
We can't.
Let me finish.
Man.
Let me
You
finish.
gotta provide
let
the
me finish.
sources, man.
Hold up, I'm talking
Yeah,
again. So you,
no.
so no, but I want to understand you. So you're saying that the present day Sudan, that those people did not populate that area to the year 55. That's what you're saying?
Not exactly. Let me finish, and you will understand what I'm trying to say. Is that you see the initial Sudan that was created back then, right? Was greater than the current Sudan.
Back when?
In year 55, all right? It was greater than the current Sudan. But then what happened is that the Great Sudan, it was actually 60% of the African continent. But then you see that Great Sudan was then split in two through colonization. So then they ended up with like the British Sudan and then the French Sudan, all right? And then what happens, because I'm telling you all of this, because all of this explained to me why some of those elementary schools in Africa teach to those kids that they came from Sudan. You get what I'm saying? So the colonizer taught them one part, but didn't teach them that other part that I'm telling you right now.
No, but
so
okay,
this
but
guy,
again, Bikini Bay, I lost you on the year 55. So you said that the people in the Sudan came from Israel in the year 55. I'm trying to.
Yeah. So, but let me finish.
That's just not. It's not true, Bikini Bay. We got, like Ngola says, we got to stop with these fairy tales. We have to stop.
Here's the thing.
I mean, Bikini Bay. What
It's embarrassing.
What ethnic group?
Okay,
are you?
but Dynasty.
What ethnic group? I'm
Here's
asking
the thing,
a question. What ethnic group are you?
I have two ethnic groups. My mother is Mosi, and my father is Dagari.
Why can't you just be proud of the Mosi and the Dagari? Like, why we got to be Israeli?
But who told you that I wasn't proud? But let me finish though. There's one thing I wanted to tell you, Dynasty, by the way, okay? Because you see, I have no problem proving.
It's not true, because those people in present day Sudan, when it was Nubia, conquered Egypt and ruled Egypt way before Jesus, even so-called Jesus, existed. So that's why your story is not true. In fact, the guy's name was Taharka, right? It was Taharka.
Yeah. Okay, but Dynasty, here's one thing I want to tell you. Here's one thing I want to tell you, Dynasty, okay? Every single time I try to bring videos and play them here, you always refuse to do it, right? Last time I tried for like the slavery in the United States, and you rejected my offer, right? So I have no problem bringing videos.
Videos
the thing is,
no, you need primary sources. Videos are not. That's not how you do academic research.
Angola, the primary sources say that the primary sources say that Nubians have been there for thousands of years before the year 55, and at one time they conquered Egypt and ruled Egypt. That's a
Sudan isn't the premise falls at his face, because Sudan is not even. It's an exonym. They don't call that place Sudan. That's nonsense. Sudan is Arabic.
Brother Angolo, it is no random video that I will be bringing, because I told you I had the guy on the phone.
That's not how you. That's not academic. You need give me primary sources from reputable anthropologists and reputable historians and reputable archaeologists. I don't want to hear no YouTube video from no person that's just putting stuff up.
The guy he's an anthropologist. Exactly, he's an anthropologist. That's why I'm willing to tell you about him. Right?
You have to have multiple that corroborate. It's not just, and it has to be a reputable. That's not how you do historical research, brother.
Okay, so you think I'm gonna bring just a random bomb to you, like a video?
Based upon what you're postulating, yes.
Bikini Bay, your information is
okay.
Because, and the reason why I say that is because you would be discounting the work of John Henrik Clarke, the work of who's the and guys, help me out, the Senegalese
Cheikh Anta Diop.
the work of Sheikh
Yeah,
Anta
Antonio.
Diop. Like, yeah, we're not going down that rabbit hole, bro. We don't have time for it. Like, we already have
No.
Okay, so
scholars
Dynast.
that are we already have scholars that
Okay, so then Dynast.
that have established that. We got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, so Dynast.
I got to pass the mic to Johnny. I'm passing the mic to Johnny.
I just have one question.
Johnny.
I just have one question for you, Dynast, before passing on. Just one question. Okay, so are you telling me right now that it's a lie that many elementary schools in Africa teach that they came from Sudan? Is this what you're telling me right now?
Burkina Faso, quantify Africa, a continent of 54 countries. Quantify many.
In Burkina Faso, they teach in elementary school that they all came from Sudan. I'm telling you right now, I know it for a fact.
Man, you said Africa.
1 second, Burkina Faso.
Which elementary school?
Burkina Faso.
In elementary school,
look,
a lot of people do. A lot of ethnic origin stories are from the east.
Let me help him.
But
let me help him.
I gotta pass the mic to Johnny. I gotta pass the mic to Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Very quick one, Danny.
I'm passing the mic to Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, no problem.
All right, appreciate it. Donis, I want to make a comment real quick, man. Just to remind people, like, when you do leave, and you leave somebody in charge, like, to moderate, they need to be respectful to the moderator and to the co-host that you have. I don't know if it got back to you, but it got a little bit disrespectful yesterday, and I know you don't appreciate that kind of stuff.
All right, yeah, I wasn't here, so yeah.
But yeah, as far as this topic, as we know it, I don't really. Everybody has different spiritual systems and different beliefs and stuff, and a lot of it, like, from the outside looking in, it's kind of easy to see the nonsense, I guess you will. But I realize that it's not really productive to try to change somebody's mind to explain to them why they're wrong. I haven't really found the right way to do it, but I understand that people kind of double down when you know, they don't deal in a place of logic and stuff when it comes to some of these ideas that they're behind. I don't know what it would take to break these ideas and then to believe the certain beliefs, but it really is prevalent, and I do know that it's not really helpful to I don't know, like, when you try to explain it to them, but if you kind of make them feel stupid at the same time, you won't get the desired effect. Something is just like does not compute there, obviously. So I only care about unity overall as a Pan-African. I don't really delve into divisiveness, and that's what makes, that's really where I have the problem with. So anybody could believe anything they believe, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they want to move for progression and they don't necessarily demonize other people in the diaspora. That's my personal belief on that. Personal beliefs are personal, and we do have to embrace our differences. I'm not saying you got to appreciate nobody from those type of backgrounds and stuff, especially if they're not doing no type of work, or if they somehow try to put themselves as on a pedestal above other diasporans, But through the years, I met a lot of different people, obviously calling themselves Hebrew Israelites or Moors or ADOS, people in the D9, Nation of Islam, Panthers, NFAC, whatever the case may be, whatever they want to label themselves as. But the majority of them are all moving towards the goal of progression and not really looking to put down other Black races and other Black people. If we can't think critical, which is the goal, but I know some people are just too far gone on that. At least see if you could challenge your beliefs that have to do so much on either ignorance. Understand what that actually means. We hear it all the time, but I don't think people really understand what true ignorance is, even after all this time. Like Flex was saying, these are grown adults. It is kind of rooted in some type of mental illness, some of these cases, but other things could be the cause too. Parents on drugs and stuff. They could have been neglected and, missed out on education as a kid for whatever reason. So they might not know how to necessarily think critical. And it leaves a lot of the problems that we have, but it makes it easier for divide and conquer. And that's like one of the biggest issues that I have with all of that. So, I just recommend that we focus on the things that we can, and that we direct things in the right direction that's going to move towards prosperity and not just lose the core when it comes online and focusing on things that don't necessarily matter more than anything else. So that's the main thing. I'll just leave it at that. Just like, we're here for a reason. Try to get to common ground or try to get to somewhere that makes sense and not just spew things that just go in circles or don't really lead to nowhere positive. I don't really see the point. I don't get the appeal to those type of things. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
All right, go ahead, to Nigel.
Greetings, diners, and greetings to all the panelists, the chat, and the viewers. I think most people have spoken relatively well, and the last speaker tried to capture my reasoning on this. But I also see the merits of people trying to get others to have higher standards for what they claim to be true. Because it's actually important for us to have a sound process for ascertaining what is actually real and what is not, because that is the real world you are living in. The real world doesn't care about your methodologies if you don't get it right. If you get it wrong, it will penalize you. And I see the merit in arguing for that. And I also see the merit in saying, okay, allow people to do what they want to do as long as they are not trying to compromise the greater good. Because I made the argument earlier on when I was here that I don't have any issue with FBA as long as they are not doing anything against the greater good. People are in different stages of their journeys, and but I also think that we should also encourage each other to ascertain truth and have a stronger process of ascertaining what is true. And there's another comment that was made earlier on about Moors and what they did. And, some of our West African brothers, their history has gone way back. And the idea that the Moors, West Africans participated strongly in it was not necessarily accurate. However, the participation of West Africans with the Moors were done in a way to actually undermine many West African states, like that of the Ghana Empire. Some of our fellow brothers in Fututoro and I think it's the Takro Kingdom cooperated with the Moravids to weaken the Ghana Empire. And maybe the pattern carries on since then. And they were one of the first states to become Islamized in West Africa. And that is a factual statement. And I think that is where I will try to leave it. People that want to believe in that they are Jews, clearly the information, anybody that is competent about ascertaining truths will feel like that is stupid conclusion to believe that they are Jewish. But we have to let them do what they are doing as long as as long as they don't do anything against the community. I've had quite a few disturbing things that some I think Hebrew Israelites were partly responsible for assassinating some Black Americans. So I don't know how far that goes, and I've not really looked deep into that. But as long as they are not doing anything against the greater good, I think we should let them be. And if they don't want to listen to when you've tried to correct them, you can't force them. You see what I mean? Thank you.
All right, Jewish apologetics. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm an actual Jew. I think it's very clear that Black people are not the the actual Jews, based off the fact that first off, when the prophets compare, when they say that the Jews are very sinful, like the prophet Jeremiah says, just like a Cushi, which is an Ethiopian, that's the biblical term for an Ethiopian, can't change his skin color, so too your sins cannot change from to white, which is the term for being clean. So if why is he comparing him to Cushim? He should have just compared them to themselves. The Jews come from Shem. Shem is other nations such as the Arabs come from Shem. The Arabs are not black. The Edomites come from Shem. The Edomites weren't black. The Ludians come from Shem. The Ludians aren't black, but the people where we believe black people come from, which is Ham, people like Kush, which is
Stop that
Ethiopian.
lies. Black people come from Shem and Ham.
No. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me interject real quick. Babo, Liko, per your guys' Bible, you do. I don't come from no Shem or no Him. My people come from that. That's y'all. That's y'all. That's y'all. That is your doctrine. That's y'all. I don't come from no.
Yeah, it's all mythology. At the end of the day, none of this is true.
I'm saying according to his framework. So even according to his own internal framework, his religion is inconsistent. There is no descendant of Shem that you can point to that is white. Okay, but all the descendants of Ham are black, like Cush and Canaan. Also, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. A large amount of people that were all dispersed collectively came up with the lie that they descended from Jews. It's ridiculous to think that millions of people worldwide, conspired to come up with this ridiculous, LARP that they're really Jewish. It's to say that a mass conspiracy can happen with such a dispersed group of people is absolutely ridiculous. Black people should be proud of their own culture. They shouldn't try to steal another nation's culture. There are parts of black culture which are beautiful. You should be very proud of it. Like I think a lot of the black family cultures, how they discipline their kids is very good. There's a lot to be proud of. That you don't have to steal other people's culture.
Steal.
Nah, but I ain't gonna lie. Based upon your phonetics and how you're enunciating, you sound like one of them Ashkenazis. And if I'm being honest, if you're not Ashkenazi or Sephardic, then you got a claim. But if you're Sephardic or not Ashkenazi, you're not no real Jew either.
Which kind of Jew are you?
Spain. I come from the Caucasus, man.
So you are
I can tell by how you talking. You one of them 25%. You one of them 25% Levantine DNA people. Majority of your genome is probably European.
What does that mean? So what is Ngolo? So what? So what?
That means that he's fake just like they are. Just like American.
Anyway,
majority of the quote unquote real Jews converted to Islam. They're in the Levant. The Syrians now, the Lebanese now.
But hold on, let me ask them a question.
Y'all are posers.
Let me ask them a question. You say you're the real Jews, right? It said I have 12 tribes. Which tribe? So white people are
nah, bro, you got to come with some pseudo stuff, bro.
Hey, Babaliko, both of y'all fake Jews, okay?
Yeah, both of y'all.
You do, Babaliko. Y'all both fake Jews.
No, I'm not saying I'm a Jew.
The 12 tribes.
But I believe some of our people are Jews. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that all of them. I believe some are Jews.
Let Jewish. I'll let you guys debate who the real Jew per your doctrine here in a minute. Go ahead, Jewish apologetics. You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. So as you know, the 10, I guess you don't know, you don't seem very educated. The 10 tribes of Israel were exiled in the book of Kings. If you look at Isaiah, if you look at Isaiah 7, Isaiah 8, the 10 tribes are exiled. You look at name one tribe. I want you to do this. Don't judge this. Name one descendant of Shem that's black.
I'm not saying black people.
I can answer that for you. No descendants of Shem are black.
Yeah, none of them. Nobody's postulating that. I'm saying you are not the people of the book. Majority of your genome, just based on how you speaking. If you are willing to show your genetic breakdown, then I'll be stand corrected. But I can tell by how you're one of them 30% to 15%.
Yeah, you have to speak with a you can't speak proper English, and you have to speak with an American black accent in order to be Jewish. It says in the Bible, in the book of I Made It Up, that you have to speak like a black American to be Jewish.
Nah, bro. Ain't no made it up. We speaking about facts right now. I'm not speaking about your mythological fake book. I'm talking about facts. Show right now, if you I know you taking a DNA test because y'all all be doing that. Right now, for a primary source, upload your genome, and we'll see how much your DNA really ties to the Levant and how much much is really Western or Eastern European. I'm willing to bet money.
Europe.
I'm willing to bet money. I'm willing to bet money that 75 to I say 85 to 65% of your genome is Western and Eastern European.
I don't come from my family moved.
You're a fake Jew.
From Turkey.
That's like, bro, you're a fake Jew like they are fake Jews, bro.
Okay,
like, come on.
Okay, so you're an unintelligent person. That's fine. You can use
I'll
rhetoric.
be that. You a fake Jew.
And you ain't Jewish, man. I can tell by the way you speaking that you ain't Jew. You fake, man. You know
Okay, get your goof ass on, man.
All right, let me pass the mic.
That was pretty good.
I gotta pass the mic. Pharaoh, go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, concerning the subject, that's why when it comes to this biblical identity, that's why I stick to the chronology of history. And sticking to the chronology destroys it all. And also when it comes to like words like Sudan and all that, I mean. And I don't agree that Sudan means Soyuta, but the problem with Sudan and Negro and all that is that it comes from the language of the slave masters. Okay, the Arabic.
That's true.
The Arabic comes from the Arabs, and the Arabs were enslaving the Africans in Africa during the trans-Saharan slave trade.
True.
So I don't see why you would even go to the language and to the text of the slave master to try to prove your identity, which is the Arabic and the English. So it is. That's why I don't believe in the language and the text of the slave master, and I will never accept that. And also now when it comes to the Bible is an ancient text. Okay, the Old Testament and the New Testament it is an ancient text that originated in the Hebrew, and then after that it was written in the ancient Greek, way before it was translated into the Latin, into the English. Okay, but the problem is this ancient text, whether if you want to see it as true or not, this ancient text is not the text of Black Americans and West Africans. Okay, because
I agree. I actually agree with you, Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Yes. Like even if you want to, even if you see it as a truth, or even if you see it as a lie, it's not our truth and it's not our lie. It belongs to the people in the Levant and in that Middle Eastern region, from the Tigris Euphrates to the Brook of Egypt, which is Sinai. But yeah, that's who the ancient text belongs to, and we know that when we deal with the events written in the Old Testament, the end of the Old Testament ended in 430 BCE. The New Testament ended in the 1st century BCE. Okay, but here's the thing: after the Old Testament, the century right after the Old Testament and the century right after the New Testament, there are no other sources that connects to those books. So like the story of Israel ends in the Old Testament, and the story of Jesus Christ ends in the New Testament. So if you want to prove that your ancestors were the ancient Israelites, you have to show it in the text. You have to show it in the Bible, or you have to show it in the text that's contemporary with the Bible, that dates to the century right after the events ended. See, but that's not the case.
Why?
Because the Old Testament ended in 430 BCE.
Wait, why?
And there
why
is
do you
no
have to do that?
and there is no source after that says anything about the Israelites after that.
That's not true.
But what happened was these modern day writers these modern day Hebrew Israelites and white Christians, okay, what they did was they skipped over all these years, over 1,000 years of history up into the modern time, and came up with all and invented all this fake, fabricated pseudo history, and try to connect themselves to Israel and the Bible. But they did that, and they did it the wrong way. So yeah, I actually have a challenge for the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, if you want to prove to me that I'm an Israelite, that you're an Israelite, okay, show me an ancient text that says exactly what you are. Okay, you say you believe in the ancient text, you don't believe in the white man's English. You say you're Israelite, you say you come from West Africa. I want to see an ancient text that says Israelites were in West Africa. If you can show that, then you know, yeah. If you can show that, then yeah. If you can show that, then you're onto something. Okay, I can hear you out. But if you can't show an ancient text showing that the Israelites were there, then you can't even entertain being an Israelite because you absolutely can't prove it. Okay, I don't want to see nothing written in English or written in the Arabic of some Jews in Sudan or some Jews in West Africa. I want to see a real, original, valid ancient text that says your ancestors, your ancient ancestors, not you. Okay, that places your ancient ancestors in the ancient text that says your ancient Israelite ancestors were in West Africa. It is simple as that. Okay, you have to prove it just like the Bible proved it. We know in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, it says the Israelites were in Egypt. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 18, 17, it said the Israelites were taken to Assyria. Okay, you have to show an ancient text that is contemporary with that says, that mentions your ancient ancestors, your ancient Israelite ancestors in West Africa. If you can't show that, then you have nothing. You can't prove. You ought to just leave it alone and let it go because you cannot prove you're Israelite. That's my challenge. That's my challenge. Show me an ancient text.
By the way, an ancient text.
Our ancient ancestors in West Africa.
Josephus describes the Jews as white, by the way.
That's my challenge. That's my challenge to any Hebrew Israelite.
Josephus describes the Jews as white, by the way. He describes them as
it have no such thing as a white Jew, man. You make that up.
You can
make that up. You made that up.
They are other Levant, man. They not you, Baba Nico. Let it go, brother. You not no Jew. He ain't either, but you not definitely no Jew.
I'm not saying I'm a Jew, but he ain't no Jew.
Okay. I do. My family has never.
I gotta pass the mic to Jog. Pharaoh, I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you very much. Good evening from here to the panel, the comment section, and those listening. This, I must say, a couple of things, Dynast. I know that you don't believe that we can possibly be Jews. I do understand that. But you have to give those who have an understanding of this, their own understanding, maybe. You have to give them air. You can't just close them. Because what you've done, not just in this platform, not just on this show today, but I've heard you just close it. And people who want to speak openly, you don't allow them to speak. I think that's very unfair.
I allow them to speak. It's just, but
no, bro. Don't. That's my viewpoint.
You're not gonna talk over me, Jagu.
No, it's not talk over you.
Jagu, the problem is now you carry yourself as an intellectual. When people
I'm such animal, man.
When people are coming in with pseudo information, I mean,
as far as you're concerned, it's pseudo.
No, it is.
But you're not the judge and jury. You're not the judge and jury.
But it is pseudo.
As far as you're concerned, but that's not everybody's belief. Okay, let me say what I got to say.
You can believe what you want. Like I used to believe in Santa Claus, Jagoon. I used to.
Yeah, that's no comparison.
And people used to entertain me, my mom,
comparison.
Hold on, Jagoon. Let me finish, Jagoon. Like I said, the night before Christmas, my mother, she'll let me put cookies and milk in the chimney, and then they would play along with it. Like some things I will try to play along with as much as possible.
No. It's okay. It's really okay.
But at the end of the day, like he was trying to say, like the Nubian, this Nubian stuff, the year 55. No, that's not true. It's just
all right. Oh no, all right, bro. These are not the things I'm saying. I'm just pointing the finger at you, saying that you're not allowing people to speak because you don't believe. That's not fair. Full
No,
stop.
I let everybody speak. I'm just saying it's not
No,
true.
you close them down, bro. But
Can y'all
let me say,
provide primary sources though to corroborate
no,
y'all
my
opinion?
Ongolo, don't even get involved. Don't get involved. Yeah, because I know what you believe. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it ain't
You
no
know,
believe. I don't believe anything. I'll
okay,
go with
you
what
don't
the
believe
primary
nothing.
sources
Okay,
say.
you don't believe anything.
It's not a
Be
matter of
quiet.
belief.
Let me have my turn. Thank you. Now, guys, you see the subject, the for me, the discussion that we're having is a deep one. We're talking, if we remember ourselves and we understand time and we understand patterns, that's how I look at things. And I'm not here underlining anything in red. Yeah, I'm not here doing that. I'm here supposing. Now, you know, there are many things going on in the world today. We can look at the history of Black Americans and seeing that during the years of the blues, all those people that were performing the blues at the time and making records, all of them had sleeves of white people on those blues albums. One, to say that these weren't black people that were singing these songs, and two, just to get them out of the way and to endeavor to steal these people's originality, these people's ethnicity, these people's creativity. That's what the whole thing was about. Now that kind of thing has gone on in America for eons. It will go on today. The stealing from black people, the stealing of black identity has happened throughout history. Egypt in itself, they've told us that Egypt was about white people. They've told us this during my lifetime, during the lifetime of all of us. So for us to just throw this thing away that we're hearing about, I think that is shameful because we haven't looked into it, and because we think it's pseudo, we just let me finish, please. Please don't close.
Hold on, Jagoon. But again, you're missing the point, and this is
I'm not missing the point. I haven't finished yet.
No, you are missing the point, Jagoon.
As far as you're concerned, you're the judge and jury.
Jagoon, this is the difference between Kemet and Israel. Like Ngola was saying, we have scholars who went to Kemet and identified, did archaeological work, and proved that the early Egyptians were black. Yeah. There is nothing of that sort for Israel.
Okay, I've heard you now.
That's the point. But go ahead.
I've heard you. You know, please don't take too much of my time.
Go ahead.
I've heard you and I understand exactly what you're saying. But you and I both know that there was a big period when these scholars, such as Sheikh Anta Diop, had not arrived on the planet. Sheikh Anta Diop, by himself, 3 or 4 times, had to prove this thing before it was somewhat accepted. Somewhat. Now, this is that whole argument, that whole query is the depth of what we're talking about. Now, Egypt and the land that they presently call Israel are pretty close. However, I don't know if that's the correct geography. What I know in this world is that we have been fundamentally lied to. Fundamentally.
100%.
And we have no real understanding of our history. Now, what I'll say, 400 years in America as black people, 400 or 500 years, whatever it might be. Those who were originally there, God knows who they really were, Olmecs or whatever, they may have been black. I don't know. You know, we can query these things. There are so many things that we don't know. And then fundamentally, we will come here and talk about pseudo. Well, you don't know. You're pseudo, is what I put to you. Now, I'll put it like
100%.
this. Because I'm a Yoruba man. And in most West African cultures, we circumcise on the 8th day. I can guarantee and tell you that most of those bastard white people, I'm sorry to put it that way, but they're bastards in that they have stolen everything from us. Those people who are from Turkey, Ukraine, and all those mid-European enclaves, those people, They weren't natural Jews. They chose that because of the war between the East and the West.
Yes.
They had a choice whether to become Christian or Muslims.
Yes.
They chose neither. What they chose was they wanted to be Israel's. So when they became that is where the Israel white people come from. That's where all of them spread out from. So we understand that to be a flagrant lie. So once we've understood that, who are the real Jews? Who are they? Who's doing this? Who is doing the study to let us know before we just start saying, "Oh, that's pseudo"?
But
Oh,
John,
you, like
but
no, wait.
This is
Hold on, guys. Hold on, one mic, and then I gotta go pick up my son. After you're the moderator, Jagoon. That's the problem.
Okay.
These people. Okay, so Jagoon, you mentioned Sheikh Adi Diop. We have John Henry Clark. We have Amos Wilson. You have Leonard
Ben Joseph. Ben Joseph. He speaks about it.
Right, but the problem is these people who are claiming to be Jews now, the black ones, they refuse to go get a shovel and a pick and go dig, unlike everybody else. That's the problem.
Okay, that's fair enough. You have a problem with those personalities that propagate this matter, which is fair enough. I understand that. You know, when I first came across the Black Hebrew Israelites and listening to them and seeing their knowledge of the Bible and then seeing how they are twisting it in many ways and seeing also how they are making differences similar to FBA used to make between what is African and what is Israel. I think this is very much pseudo. You understand? But it doesn't mean that they don't have a point. It doesn't mean that the depth of knowledge can't be entertained. It doesn't mean that we can't research this. All I'm saying to the panel is that the examples that I've given of the blues and what goes on in America with stealing of the black entity's heritage, what goes on in Africa with the stealing of black wealth is the same thing that went on for Egypt in itself and telling us that Egypt is not African. So for us to just blanket and say, oh, this is bullshit or this is rubbish, I think that's poor. Why don't you go and do the research? You go and do it.
I have. That's why I came to the conclusions. The people that are making this stuff up have insufficient methodology. They just make
okay. Give me this. Because I'm not on anyone's side here. But give me this, Ngolo, since you know so much. We West Africans, largely, we are circumcised people. Largely. And in the world, we are the most circumcised in the world. And we all circumcise on the 8th day of the boy's birth. This is what they write in the Bible as what is Israelite. Why does that take place? Can you tell me that?
It has nothing to do with anything in the Bible.
Can you tell me that? What do you mean it has nothing to do?
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Did it have anything to do with anything, or did it just happen out of the sky?
Hey, hold on. He asked me a question. I'm going to answer. That's just merely, I don't know nothing about the 8th day or anything. I know for a fact that in no place in Oyo, Ijebu, Ekiti land, they never found no menorah. They've never found any Star of David archaeology.
They have. The Star of David has been there. That star, I don't know if it's the Star of David. Let me tell you, my friend, I'm a Yoruba person, so you can't tell me anything.
Direct me to a source.
Ungolo, you said it. You can't really tell me anything. Because that star that you speak about, I don't know if it's the Star of David or whatever it's called, yeah? But that star has been in our land for eons, before anything. So you're not answering me anything.
Can you direct me to any archaeological dig? Can you direct me to the archaeological dig that shows it?
I don't need. You don't need an archaeological dig.
But this is what I'm talking about when it comes to methodology. That's nonsense. Okay. You can't just say it's always been in the culture.
Let me come back to you before you start. Let me come back. What I'm saying next time that we're on this channel, yeah, I will bring a photograph of that star that is in Yoruba land and in Benin itself. Yes. And it's way before the white people came to us. Yes. Way before. You're saying things that you think that
and then
no white man has told me this.
And then no, but you blatantly skipped over the menorah too, though. You blatantly skipped over the menorah too. I said the menorah too, which predates the stars.
Menorah Fedora. I'm not here to prove to you anything. I'm just saying that we cannot castigate and call things pseudo when we have no knowledge of it. We don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
Don't keep saying we don't have knowledge of anything. That is recipe for chaos because there
are references. What do we have knowledge of? What do we have knowledge of?
You've been talking.
I've been talking because it's my turn. I've been talking.
Tunisia, let him land. Hang on. Jack only got 1 minute and tell her.
Look, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
Jagon, you got 1 minute.
All it is, Mr. Moderator, all it is, we cannot castigate when knowledge is still being unearthed. But we are castigating, and people like Ngolo pretending that they know everything and don't know anything. You know, he hasn't even left his bedroom, let alone the state, telling me about archaeological dig. Fuck off with your shit.
Bro, show us to us. That's all I'm asking is for you to show us to us.
You show us some.
I'll show 5 sources.
No,
if I show 5 sources from reputable scholars, then you got to get off the panel.
Hold on, let me ask
you get off the panel.
All right, that's what I thought.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
That's what I thought, man.
Hold on,
Mr. Moderator.
One question. Nogolo, you take
wait.
5 seconds. To tell her, then it's you next.
Okay.
Nogolo, now, question, please.
Did you hear him? The guy just said something. Come on.
Respect the moderator.
Yes, please. Now, all I'm saying is that the only thing I'm saying, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself because I hate repetition, we cannot castigate when we're in a conversation. What we're having here, I think personally, that this is a very deep thing. It's not something to be thrown away. We're talking about 8,000 years of history, at least. And in that time, there's a lot to dig up. We haven't unearthed 6,000 years, 4,000 years, 2,000 years. If we understand what this kind of time that I'm speaking about is, then I think we all need a bit of humiliation in what we think we know. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.
Please provide a source, though.
Truth teller, that's your turn. Truth teller, to Niger. Truth teller is you next. Are you there?
I'm here.
You're being facetious now. You're being facetious because I went after
Truth teller hasn't went one time, though, too, Niger.
You said that he hasn't went once. After Jagon finishes his speaking. Let me just say let me tell you what he's saying. Because
True Niger, you come back. You got True Niger, you will come back. Just bear that in mind. Truth teller is your turn, please. Thank you.
But that is just a
listen to him. Listen to him, please.
True Niger, please.
These guys,
please, True Niger. True teller, 27 is your turn.
Yo, True teller, go ahead. Go ahead, True teller.
All right.
So that the whole point will be escaped. Carry on. You are the moderator.
All right. Thank you. So I've been listening to you guys, and it's very interesting. So one thing I've come to learn, throughout the years, there's a saying people say that history repeats itself. And if history repeats itself, then we have to ask ourselves, why is it that there are certain things which are considered not to be known or not to be understood if history repeats itself? That's number one.
Patterns.
That's number one. Number two, I feel like when it comes to this stuff like religion and everything, one of the important things I really think is location. Like location is everything. For example, when it even comes to the Americas, when it comes to this discussion, I know that Black people in America, they try to find, identity, which is a good thing. But don't you ever wonder why, for example, the Americas is called the New World? Like, if history repeats itself, and for some guy or some white guy found America, like in, 15, 14 something, and it means that before that time, America, nobody knew America, nobody went to America. This is why I say, like, Black history, Black people,
need to know their history, because if you study, now I don't have exact sources, but if you study like even history, Black people have been all around the world. You know, there's documentation that Black people in West Africa, you know, they've went to North America, South America. There's documentation that Black people, they've been in Asia before. So like, why do we deny that all of these things there might be a possibility, you know? Maybe it's true that all Black people come from Africa, but maybe there are Black people who migrated into other places in the world, and all of these things are connected in some shape or form. So that's all I have to say.
Change your battery.
People are so dumb.
Okay. Tunaja, you was Tunaja, you was gonna respond. You got 1 minute, Tunaja. Yeah.
All right. Before you start ascertaining truths of things, there are references, multiple references to the same truths. And write a whole history about encountering the Jews in the area that they call Palestine today, and they also encountered the Sudanic empire that they fought to a standstill. The idea is that you have to also go back and say, okay, what did the Greeks think? The Greeks will say the same thing, and the other groups around the world will say the same thing. They don't deny the existence of Black people in Africa, but they don't call them Jews because the Jews were encountered in the Palestinian areas. Or the people that say that they are Israelite, they were encountered in the Palestinian areas. If an African culture has certain resemblance to the Palestine culture today or the Jewish culture today, it doesn't mean that we are Israelites. It just means that we are older, and they may have copied us, just like many of the stories in the Bible come from the Sumerian stories and the Sumerian myths. So I don't understand how you can just.
Well, it's not. How you have to answer. You have to answer within what you're saying.
No,
it's we in West Africa. Wait. It's important.
No.
We in West Africa. Wait, please. We in West Africa had to meet those people who copied from us.
Bro, let him finish.
How did we meet?
What conclusion?
Let the man finish. Tunaja, you finish?
If they may come from you, even it doesn't necessarily mean you met them. They may originate from you, just like the Sumerians. After all, Abraham came from.
If they originate from us, they're us.
Okay.
They are not.
I mean, bro, you're not saying anything. You're not saying anything.
Hold on now.
You're not saying anything.
You gotta let him finish and show some decorum, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You can decide to call them us, just like every human on earth can be said to be African.
No.
You
don't got to comment on every word he makes.
I'm following his logic.
Look. He was just interjecting. Okay, that's fine. Look. I think Babaliko, go. It's your turn now. Thank you.
No, I believe what Jagan was saying. He made a great point. I'm not saying with Jews or anything like that, but I believe like with all the tribes we have, I believe it had something called Israelites, or something, maybe not Israelites, but it had something like that back then, where they did wear fringes and do those things. And the white man took it. The white man took everything. He took everything.
Something because you have no evidence. You can't just talk without evidence. Are we knuckle draggers here? You can't believe
Tunaja, we are, brother.
Tunaja, hold on. Tunaja, let him make
You guys speak for yourself.
Would you agree? Would you agree?
have zero evidence.
Tonight, yes.
This is sad, man. Really sad, bro.
You're sad. Ugolo, you're sad.
No.
I'll be sad, bro. I'll be sad.
You keep sad.
Before they divide up the African map, the whole African map the land of Israel in it.
One mic.
The old map of Africa had a piece of land in it that said a land of this lands of Israel. The old African map. So you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's also old
Cite the source.
That make it true.
Cite the source.
No, Ngolo, leave it.
No,
Africa. These people, bro, if y'all keep making these claims and references, bro, y'all need to start citing these sources.
Why don't you cite your source? Cite your source, Ngolo.
What claim am I making that's being
make your point.
All I'm saying is this. If the white men take Israel and they take Jews, then it must have to have some kind of black people with it because they keep everything. So it must have to have something
This is not sound logic.
No,
Clearly,
Ngolo, you
your
need to stop
brain.
interrupting. Guys,
So
stop interrupting. Stop interrupting.
it's still everything.
Ngolo, make your point. Then I,
Bro, bro, how are y'all letting this? How, bro? We are grown men. Do you understand what you just said? You just said it has to be
your
so.
turn will come. Ngolo, your turn will come. Come on, you can interject.
Ngolo, stop being triggered, man.
Bro, this is embarrassing, bro.
You're embarrassing.
Babalito,
You are embarrassing.
Bro.
Stop it.
Are you telling
Bro,
me?
let him
Are you
talk,
telling
man.
me? Hold on, Nogola. Are you telling me to have no such thing as a Jew? To have no such thing as an Israelite? None of that. That's what you
There's no
saying?
such thing as a black Israelite. No, that's fake. It's not true.
Nah,
As
man, you
far
can't
as
say
you're
that.
concerned.
You can't
A
say
West
that.
African black
So the
Israelite
story
is
of
not true.
Israelites that have conflicts that they fought. They fought
You can't say
conflicts
that. Django said it.
kingdoms
Why
in the Middle East today. I don't understand how you can misconstrue that Israelites, even in their story in the Bible, they had wars with nations in the Middle East today. And you are
Wait,
still saying
okay.
that.
Can I ask this question to the panel? Let me ask this question to the panel. Are we aware?
Make your
Are we
question.
aware?
Then
Wait. Thank you.
Wait. Then Johnny, after Dago, make a question, and Johnny, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well done. Now I'll put it to the panel. Africa and the so-called Middle East, as they're calling it, all the way to India. Are we aware of the demographic situation in that arena back in the days of Xerxes? If we know who Xerxes is, do we know the demographic, the major demographic? We
Guys, do
don't
you
know.
know the
No one knows.
demographic of it?
Nobody
No, hang on. Let
knows.
them answer the question. No, hang on. Do you know the demographic, guys? Anyone?
Yes, from
They are
India to
Persians. They
Ethiopia.
are the Iranians today. What are we going on about?
From
What is
India
it?
to
Look,
Ethiopia.
What do you mean by
you don't know.
demographic? Is the
You don't
question?
know, so you should have answered.
Well, the question.
Persians,
The question
They're
is, what
not.
do you
You
mean
see,
by demographic?
Ethiopia.
what I
One
said.
mic.
This is my question. From Africa to what we now call the Middle East, all the way to India. Yes. Are we aware of what demographic was living in that area first? The
When you
first,
say demographic and when you say
they're all black
first,
people
okay.
eventually now. Come on.
exactly. If they were black people,
So
then
what time are
how?
we talking about when we say first? You mean first
Well,
original
that's why I mentioned
inhabitants?
Xerxes. That's why I mentioned Xerxes. I
So
mean, back
Xerxes,
in
you talking? Okay, so Xerxes was around from the movie 300
no,
during the Battle
it
of
wasn't from the
Thermopylae.
movie. Forget the movie. I'm
Okay,
talking
from
about the reality.
from the reality of the Battle of Thermopylae, and you saying those are the first inhabitants of
No,
what,
the
of
Battle
Rome?
of Xerxes. Xerxes was what we call today a Persian or an Iranian, a Persian from Iran.
Yeah, he's the guy. He was the emperor.
Wait, let me lie. I'm
Okay.
going to answer my own question.
Dago, make it. You got
When-
one. You got 5 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Thank you. Give it to me. I'll take it. Thank you. Back in those days, that whole demographic was as we are, black people. And in there, it happened that they came down from the mountains and started to mix with those people. But the black people,
Yes.
full stop. If you can take it from there, then to say that there's no black Israelites is stupidity. Simply.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
So now,
Johnny, is your turn. No, Babaliko, please. Johnny, and I.
Yeah, can I go next?
Man,
It's Johnny.
man, to be honest,
Johnny.
I really,
No,
man,
it's
I don't know
Johnny.
what to say.
Johnny's turn.
Bro,
Sorry,
I'm
Pharaoh.
speaking.
Oh, is that Johnny?
speaking.
Sorry, my bad. Go on.
All right. Yeah, I don't know where to go with this, man. I'm gonna just say, even though I don't really understand, man, I'm trying to understand, bro, more than anything. I'm trying not to point fingers at people and blame anybody for anything. I think that even conversations like this that take place on a daily basis, man, it's important for progress because some issues still plague us. And to me, it's so easy to get caught up in these type of ideas and stuff and have we draw hard lines in the sand and there's no way to bring it back. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but some people on this panel that I'm not going to name out directly, but are older, right? And you would think that certain logic and reasoning and things might be in their DNA to how they come to conclusions, but Obviously, that's not necessarily the case. All right, a little bit of shade, but it's the truth, and I'll stand by it. We can't think critically
Okay.
necessarily, but we got to find some type of common ground, regardless. So I'm hoping that at the end of everything that everybody's saying, that we can find some type of common ground. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
The
Okay.
minds won't be changed, obviously, but because some people don't want to, right? But like through it all, we got to come to some type of like point where it's like, okay, agree to disagree, but also understand that maybe I don't have all the answers when it comes to why I believe what I believe, or whatever the case. You know what I mean? But like, it's obvious. We all see it. You all see it. But like, let's try to find a common ground, man. At the very least, if you ain't going to change your mind.
Okay. Before I pass the mic, I've been patient. I skipped my turn so many times for you guys. I mean, I did from the beginning of the show. I spoke about the Niger group, which I still always where I come back to, right? Because we know in West Africa, people of the African descent, like West Africa in general, you can look at the Senegambia region, all the way West Central Africa, basically. The Niger Congo group, they actually, I don't even know why, I don't know why they call us Niger Congo. It's 1,000 language family group. Our DNA from the father side is H1B1 something, and then M2. And that's what shows in all our genetics, most of the West African tribe, except the tribe that you find in northern Nigeria, like the Hausa and the Kanuris, they're more Afro-Asiatic. But other than that, if I'm not mistaken, Tunaja helped me a bit more because I will refer many who done a lot of conversation and talk about these things deeper. When it comes to those genetics, that's what we are as West African people. However, if you trace our lineage back from West Africa, we break off as a race. It's where that place called Southern Sudan. It's what they call it the Northwest Nile Valley because they know the Nile. The south of the Nile is what is the north. The north of the Nile is the south. Okay, that's where we break off with is it Kordofan or something? So we break off and came to where West Africa is today. But so some people may be right that of course, if we came from that region called Sudan, probably expanded towards the east, because some people in the east, have will give you some stories that these are just stories, not genetically linked. That if you go back to Mesopotamia, there were black people that live around that region called, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and so on. Because the people that live there today, they're Caucasian. Okay, these people are not basically. If you look at Arab people, basically Arab people, what you see today, they're a mixture of race. They're not one race. So that might tell you something about that region called the Middle East, West Asia. If you look at them, they're slightly different to the Europeans, because they're more tan, more mixture. And then also, if you go to further to the east, they're different to the Chinese. So, that there might be some kind of different differences over the years. But I believe West African people, wherever we came from, I think Niger Congo people are just one human race. Simple as that. And to what you're referring to Niger earlier about the Almoravid dynasty. I mean, the Ghana Empire was quite oppressive. I mean, Pharaoh was pointing out that earlier. You know, it was quite oppressive. He had to go. Just because it's an African empire doesn't mean you have to stay. Because it's a trading empire that was involved heavily in trans. No, one second. No. Hold on. I did not interrupt you, to Niger. Remember the trans-Sahara slave trade. Okay, it was the worst crime in the African continent in our memory. We got written history about this. There are tribes in West Africa that still talk about it. Yeah, it was the best thing that ever happened. They oppressed so many tribes. They oppressed so many group of Africans, and so many got killed. So many got sent to the Sahara, to the Middle East as slaves. So it had to go. They were selling salt and gold. And the Ghana Empire were the same people who invited these people who call the Moors or Tuareg or whatever you call them into that region anyway, and they gave them home. So there wasn't and they wasn't a Muslim to begin with. It's when it's later on they became Muslim and unified, and it had to get destroyed. Okay, so let's make certain things clear. But
No, no, no.
however,
No. Hold on. You can't just make statement like that and just jump. Let me respond to what you just said.
okay,
The Takro and the
mm.
Futotoro. No, I may be getting that wrong. Where the
The Takro Kingdom, yeah,
Takro is the first one, and they first
yeah,
Islamized before the Ghana Empire, and they eventually worked with the Almoravids, whom are the
yes,
Babas and part of the group that also are
the
the
Moors
Moors that went to
who
the
conquered
this thing.
Spain,
Not
to
that
Spain.
the Moors, not that the Fulanis did that. It was the Almoravids and the Babas of Spain and a few this in elite Arabs that went into this in Spain and Europe. So, but
And the
when it
head of
comes to West
the
Africa,
Takro Kingdom, the head of
hold
the
on now.
Takro Kingdom.
When it comes to West Africa, that is the real point I want to make. When it comes to West Africa,
Okay,
that Takro kingdom
mm.
that is made
Mm.
up of Fulanis and many Fulani full-based speakers also
It's made of
cooperated with
Fulani, Sere, it made
let
of
me
Fulani,
finish.
Sere,
Also
and
cooperated
Soninke
with the
and Mandinka.
hold on
Mm.
now. Also cooperated with the Amuravis against the Ghana Empire. Now,
Yeah,
your
you have to
argument
go.
is that Ghana is evil as an empire,
Yeah,
but
yes.
it doesn't negate the fact all empires are evil in a sense. But it doesn't negate the fact that as a group, the Takro collaborated with non-West Africans against West Africans,
Who
and the
told you? Who
pattern.
told you there was non-West Africans?
Ghana Empire is Amuravis are not West Africans.
There were West
Amuravis are not.
Africans in Almoravi.
They are
Yes.
not West Africans. They are Barbers from North Africa.
No, they
That's
weren't.
their.
No,
That's
see, this is you see your mix. You see your mix. You see. So you think those you think all
they have
Tuaregs are actually black? No, no,
Amuravis
no.
Empire.
Not all
Are you telling
not
me
all
Amuravis
Tuaregs.
Empire is that of West Africa now?
No, not
Is
all
that what you're trying
Tuaregs were black. You know, this is why you don't understand. If you don't understand the texture and the
The
literature and the
Amuravis, are you
history
telling me the
of those,
Amuravis are
listen,
West African?
the Almoravid were a mixture of West African and not West African. Yes, mixture. The Almoravid was
Not West
very mixed. It wasn't.
African.
It
Mostly
was
North
not
African
West.
distinct groups.
Yeah, but they were dark skinned Tuareg and light skinned Tuareg and West Africans. So there were three groups in there.
But my point is that they were more
Yeah. So
closer
you
to
need to
the
get that
Moors.
right.
No. They are closer to the Moors. They are not West Africans. They are closer to the
And they were
Moors.
there, and there was and there was
Fulanis are the ones that
there
are West
was
African among.
yes, and
Come
the
on,
Soninka and the head of
non-West Africans and
the head of
West
the
African.
yes
That's what
the
you're
head
trying
of
to. Why are you trying to avoid that? You know, it's a fact that you, the Takro, that are actually West African and
yes
B1B1A, like you just
kingdom
described, cooperated
yes
with people that are not E1B1A against
yes
E1B1A empire. You did.
yes
So stop pretending
yes
as if, and the pattern remains the same.
yes
If you drag it from
absolutely.
there to what happened in
Yeah.
the Osman and Foju and all the rest. So why are we pretending as if that is not the truth?
See now. Oh God,
No, the pattern remains the same. I don't know why you're pretending as if
no,
that is not true.
you're okay. Let's not. Okay, you finish. Because you was interrupting me when I was
Trying
speaking.
to stress the point. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You know, it's fine. It's nice for us not to like trying to print narrative just to spew propaganda. It does help a lot. As I said to you, the Ghana Empire were aligned with this group of people. They invited them in. They worked with them, and the Ghana Empire, the first people to, if you want to bring the religious aspect of it, the first people to go. Don't take my word for this. The first people to accept Islam in West Africa wasn't the Fulani, the Soninke were the first. This is very renowned in the whole West African region. The Soninke were the first people who accepted Islam in West Africa. You can go to any single.
The nation that
No, no,
first
no,
came.
no, 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 no. Listen,
You know, it's
listen to me. They are the first ethnic group and first group of people who accepted Islam in West Africa, and they're the one that built the Ghana Empire. Okay, and they're the one that was involved in selling millions of black people to the trans-Sahara slave trades. Okay, so you're saying you're happy, just because they're black people, you are happy for them to continue selling and pillaging and destruction of their own kind of people,
Well,
to
hold
sell
on.
to the
Therefore,
Arabs. No,
therefore,
hold
is
on,
the
hold on.
best West
You're basically
African. I don't
agreeing
know
with
why
that. No,
agreeing with this stupid
you're not.
Therefore,
No.
is the
You
best
can't do
West
that.
African
You can't.
become Islamized? Why are you saying is the Sunni? I don't know. Maybe
No,
Soninkes are part of
the,
the Tikal nation.
they were
I'm
part
telling
of
you that
the Kujabi.
Fulanis were
Listen, the
also part
Kujabi.
of it.
No, yes. It was a mix. It was a mixture. The Kujabi was a warrior who was leading the Takuru at that time when the Islam take place. So he wasn't a pure Fulani. He was a Malik Dawdasi. He was a Soninke. I can name you the names and the
And the
district
Hausa
and the
speakers
time
were
and the history
Hausa
and the
speakers
dates.
that
I
also
got,
went
I
on
got, yeah,
to do
exactly.
more. So, but
But
you know
they
these
went
things now.
on. No,
My problem is that you want
hold
to
on. So when they,
for
so
bottom of
Nigel,
your
why are you
group,
stopping? Why
and you
you
always like
see
debating.
this
Those
is a
things they
problem when
I
you're
don't like.
losing,
I
you
don't
speak
like
over
that.
people.
I'm
Okay,
next. I'm next.
okay.
I don't
Thank you.
when you
Guys,
distort history.
guys, can you see this? Can you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, when this Aaron Rabbit, so he's supporting African slaving Africans. That's fine. Okay, he's supporting that, and just for the sake of religion. So because Africans are not, basically happy to slave other Africans, is fine. But
No,
the
hold on.
reality is,
What Tunisia saying? Tunisia saying the people they sell was different, right? That's what Tunisia
no,
is saying,
he was
right?
saying, no, Tunaja is saying that just because, no, Tunaja is saying just because the Ghana Empire was selling black slaves, it was right as long as they did not attempt to convert to another religion. Okay, sorry, I just wait my look on here. So yeah, basically, what he's trying to say is
What kind of
he's
stuff is that?
choosing
I
he's
never said
choosing.
any such thing.
No, but you
And
just
you
said
just
okay. Hold on, hold on. Your logic is the
wow.
Takuru kingdom was wrong, even though the Ghana Empire was involved in selling millions of black slaves to the Middle East. They was wrong in allying with the Moors to destroy the kingdom, okay, and join
Okay,
Islam.
if that is the
Well, that's what
case,
you say. That's what you say. That's
no,
what you're saying. But however, let
no,
me finish.
I said
However,
first.
when the Takuru kingdom, wait, when the Takuru kingdom joined with the Moors, they did not continue or stayed in Africa to subjugate Africans. They crossed over to Spain. They went to Toledo. They went to Al-Andalusia. Where they went to Spain. That's where they went and expand. This was the first kingdom in African history who went out of Africa instead of actually colonizing their own people. They went to Spain and Portugal and they built alliance with those people, the Berber Tuareg and the Africans. For the first time, Africans were the colonizers of Europe. Can you get this? This guy is actually sitting here. I know your sentiment that you're trying to play, but it won't work. It won't work here tonight. You are saying, I mean, can you get this? We suffered from colonialism from the inside throughout history of Africa, and Tunisia is a Pan African. For the first time, because of religion, he's saying it's wrong for an African group to ally with other groups to go into Europe and actually conquer and spread their religion and their science and technology and establish for the first time. Basically,
You
that's
see,
what Tunisia is disagreeing with.
that is
I'm
very
next. I'm
telling.
next.
You
I'm
are.
next.
It's obvious.
Let me respond
It's
now.
obvious.
Let me respond now. That is very telling
Bro.
because
Let,
it shows
let,
you
let
that.
somebody else
Hold
go,
on,
man.
Pharaoh.
You've
Let
been
me just
talking
Let's,
for a
finish.
long time.
yeah. I mean,
I'm
yeah.
not letting him finish.
Yeah.
See,
Pharaoh
God,
is your turn. Pharaoh
I
is
don't
your
know
turn.
what Pharaoh guy is
I
all
pass the
about
mic.
because
Pharaoh,
you guys
go on.
don't know
Pharaoh, go on.
the truth. Now, let me
Yeah,
deal with
yeah,
this.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
No,
childish.
Pharaoh. No, Tunisia is enough.
You can't make an
Enough.
assertion like
Tunisia,
that
enough.
for a
Pharaoh
long
is your
period of
turn.
time,
Your turn.
and you don't allow me to respond. Pharaoh, you need to step down. Let me respond to what he
No,
just
you
said.
can.
Go ahead and
Because
make the point, man.
he's saying
Make your
that affects
point.
all West
Make
You
your
Africans,
got
and I'm
point.
okay,
West
Let's
Tunisia.
finish,
African.
You
bro.
got 1 minute.
So hold
You got
on.
1 minute. You got one
You
minute.
got
You
one
got one
minute.
I
minute.
don't lie
Talk.
about that. Let me respond. He's giving me 1 minute now. So you see what you just said? You just kind of mangled the idea of slave trade versus what the Fulani and the Fulani group did in West Africa. And you also exaggerated the participation of the Fulbe in the Moors. They barely even participated in the invasion of the Moors of Europe. They barely. And you just distorting history. And that's what I don't like. You do that very much here. And you are also kind of pushing Islamic agenda here. The truth is that this Tekro group, where the
Did anyone hear me pushing Islamic agenda
hold
here?
on,
Did anyone?
let me Let me finish. You had your say. I let you
No,
speak.
thank you. Thank you. Listen to these
Let me have
guys
my say. Let me have
carefully.
my say. I never try to justify what this in the Ghana Empire did. If you are trying to say the Tako decided to oppose the Ghana Empire because of slavery, did they stop it? They didn't stop it. When they become Islamized, the slave trade even went up. So stop pretending. And I really don't like this lie and you've never stopped. I don't know why you do this. You just
So you're
lie all
shouting.
the
You're
time.
It's
shouting.
okay. It's
Okay.
okay. Let's
Don't do
move
that.
on. Let's move
Stop
on
trying to
now.
African
Yeah,
history.
Right.
And
just
I will
1
say
minute, brother.
when I
Uh,
show up here.
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Yeah.
operator,
yeah, yeah,
organize the platform.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pharaoh. I mean, guys, every one of you guys, go and
Don't
Google
worry
this.
about defending
What we're
yourself.
talking
We
about.
all heard.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah. Thank you, Jagun. Yeah. Pharaoh, go on next. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. I just want to say, now, the teachings that Ngolo follow, yeah, I don't follow that. I used to be a part of that community. That's the conscious community, the Pan African community. Those guys, a lot of them, they are scammers. They're anti-history, and they want to steal history from the originals and twist it, falsified, and make it what they want to be. So I don't believe a lot of those guys. They believe in the white man's science. When he asks you for sources, when Ngolo asks you for sources, he's actually asking for some white man's validation. That's what he's asking for. Okay, yeah, but I don't follow those guys. And yeah, a lot of their teachings are pseudo. It's late. It's modern. They're anti-history. Everything they say is anti-history, from the titles and from their beliefs. It's all anti-history, and that's why he's on here talking nonsense, asking everybody else for a source, but he can't show a source because the source he's going to show is some late 1800s or racist white source. Okay, now the question has to be asked is, okay, when people say that the white man lied about our history, okay, what is this history that the white man lied about? I can tell you now that the history that Ngolo believes in and the conscious community believes in, that history never existed. It did not exist during during ancient times before slavery. A lot of this stuff was invented after the English and after slavery. A lot of these DNA tests and all that. Okay, the first DNA study started in the 1800s. Okay, DNA is a late field of study. The study of DNA and genetics, it did not even exist. So for you to say that DNA debunks something is wrong, okay? Because history does not need DNA to speak for it. History can speak for itself, okay? Because history predates DNA. The DNA studies, history predates DNA studies by 2,000 years. Okay, but history before DNA studies and before all this modern this fake fabricated modern way of telling history was told through ancient texts. Okay, you read an ancient text, you translate it, and that's how history was told. Okay, now when it comes to who are we, and speaking on the history that existed, that we did have a history that existed. Okay, but the history that these mainstream Negroes are telling you about, okay, these agents and these sellouts, okay, the history they're telling you did not exist. They're taking you out of the picture of history. They taking you out of history. Okay, that's why I'm no longer a part of that community. I want nothing to do with it, and that's why I see myself as a real historian, and I follow nothing. I follow nothing they say because they've been lying to our community for years and years. They've been scamming our people for years and years, and they took us out of history, and they are the reason why we're still on the bottom. Okay, now let's be fair here. Okay, some of you say that we're not the Israelites. Okay, let's be fair here. Okay, now we're not the Israelites. Okay, according to the history I follow. Okay, you say we're not the Israelites, we're not the people on the Mediterranean. Okay, so the question is, who are we? Okay, because I can tell you right now that these guys from the conscious community or from that Pan-African community, they're not going to tell you the truth. Okay, so when it comes to who are we have to start with geography. What is the geographical location of our ancestors in ancient antiquity? Okay, so we have to start with first we come from West Africa. Okay, so we have to start west, because that's why I don't like that term West Africa, because West Africa, you know, it can apply to Morocco, Algeria, but we have to start west. Who were the people in the extreme west, the furthest west? They were the Moors. Okay, but we know that the Moors are not our ancestors because they live on the Mediterranean in the north. So from the Moors, we have to go south. Who were the people in the south? Okay, and when we look at the history, we find out that the people to the south, beyond the Sahara Desert, okay, because the Sahara Desert was uninhabited. So when it speaks of the people to the south of the Sahara Desert, it's talking about the people after the Sahara Desert to the south, which is the Niger River region. Okay, what did they call those people? They call those people Ethiopians, okay, or Western Ethiopians. Okay,
you're correct.
Yeah. But according to these guys from this fake Pan-African conscious community, they say that we not the Ethiopians, we not the Egyptians, we not the we're none of that.
Pharaoh, some of the Ethiopians saying they are Jews. So
No, don't get Pharaoh wrong. Please, what he's saying, I think is quite intelligent. If I may, very quickly.
Right. But they are saying that some of them are going back to Israel.
But the Ethiopia that Pharaoh is talking about is not the country Ethiopia. What he's saying is reality. Please listen.
If you look at if you look at the map, one second.
Why are we messing up, man?
I apologize. Well, if you look at the map of what he just said, he's making some sense in there, definitely. But I mean, he's right. The Moors actually.
No, I'm going next.
Sorry. They spread from northwestern Africa, where Mauritania is, to Morocco, all the way to the north and to the Iberian, like Spain, Portugal, and so on. So it's their territory. That was different to what West Africa.
You're right, Africa, but you're not saying the truth. Africa, you know that Ethiopians saying they're Israelite, they're Jews too.
Africa, I don't even know why we.
I think you're taking the whole thing. I think you're taking away the whole thing from what Pharaoh is saying. I don't know why you disturbed him.
I know what he's saying. That's right. But if
why did you disturb him?
No, but if he's going to claim that place and he said don't believe in Jews and Israel, he got to claim those people who are saying that.
That's not the same. He's speaking about geography. And the geography that they used to write was that the whole of Africa largely was called Ethiopia, most especially West Africa. So what you're talking about, you're not listening. You see, I think that this is a serious discussion, a serious one, because it follows from yesterday's discussion, which I didn't entertain in terms of but I listened to it, and we were speaking about identity, and it was said by somebody that identity crisis doesn't end in America. This is what we're talking about. By the time we are now in Africa, by the time we are now speaking about Africa, we can see that Africans themselves have identity issues. And
I just got back on these super chats. FBA Young Line, thank you for 999. Holla. I don't believe in Abrahamic religions, but if I did, Niger Congo people are the descendants will fit the prophecies. Deuteronomy, Ezekiel 37, Zephaniah 3:10, more than these European imposters. FBA Young Line, thank you for 499. Holla. The E haplogroup is indigenous to the Levant before the J haplogroup crawled from out of the Caucasus Mountains.
That's right.
FBA Young Line, thank you for 499. Holla. Niger Congo people and their descendants scattered around the world are special, particular people, God's people. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe again. Please hit that like button. All right, go ahead. Well, Invisible Man, go ahead, Invisible Man.
Hey, let me see if I'm on. Am I on? Okay. So I hadn't finished writing down what I thought, but getting back to the topic of the panel, I think the number of Black Americans who claim they're Hebrew or indigenous are very few. I mean, I don't think they've gotten any foothold into any major mainstream thought processes, and that even goes before the internet even came into existence. I think when you left Dynast, I was loving the conversation because
Dennis wasn't there. How rude!
Stop being rude, Jargon. Stop being silly. You do that all the time.
No, I caught.
Shut up, my friend. No, sorry, not you.
Guys,
I'm talking about
let
my
man,
friend,
man, stop.
forefather, who has no
Invisible Man.
forefather.
Look,
Man, go ahead.
I caught the joke, and it was.
Thank
funny.
you, sir.
But when someone claims they are a scholar on a subject and questions another person to show primary sources, I think that person who is challenging them to show primary sources should show their sources, and they should share their credentials or bona fides. All right, because I may have some differences with some of the Africans on the panels, on the panel, but I will believe them before I believe an American person who only challenges others to prove themselves, right? And so let me get back to what was going on as you left Dynast, because I am intrigued by and I'll use the one question. I believe it was Jagoon. I don't know if it was Jagoon or not, but they were given a history of the eighth day when males are circumcised.
That was me, sir.
Okay, and then he was challenged by Ngola, who didn't even know why that occurred, and that's a Christian practice. And when somebody says something like that, and that was going on in Western Africa within Jagoon's tribe, but it's sold to Americans as a Christianity thing with respect to that's the reason why, then I can't listen. I have to question when Ngola questions Jagoon on the history, and he's from there, and he knows that's going on, right?
Ungolo is pseudo. He's not real. That's not his name. His name is
be respectful.
Patrick
Let him
Fisher.
finish, man. You got to chill.
Here's the thing that I was liking about the conversation. One of the things in my mind, I think I said about a week ago that Black Americans may have to go through a maturation process, because with me, I mean, I've gone through stages in my life, but I accept all of that of which I am. And I accept the fact that I come from Western African stock in a number of tribes. I accept the fact that I come from some European background. I accept the fact that I come from the enslaved and the slaver, right? And until Americans get to a point of acceptance, they're always going to be grasping on to these things that make them better than somebody else, instead of saying, this is who I am and I need to grow from here, which is Africa's point all the time. We need to grow. We need to forgive, because once you forgive, I tell you what, once you forgive, the burdens of yourself are relieved. And I say this to get back, and this is my last point on the history. If Africans could show, because I know through my research and that kind of thing, that the Africans had expertise in any number of fields, right? And if the Mali Empire was uncovered, if the Ghanaian Empire, I'm not talking about the current states, I'm talking about the empires
Ouagadougou.
back.
Ouagadougou. We call it Ouagadougou.
Okay, Ouagadougou. If that could be shown, then Black Americans have something to grasp onto and be proud of. And I think that's what they may be trying to look for. But instead of not having these things to be proud of, they grasp onto all these other white and that Jew, that white Jew that came on here trying to espouse all of his stuff, they grasp onto him and what he has to say instead of saying, look, Ouagadougou was this huge, beautiful empire.
Bingo, invisible man.
Right?
If I can interject, and that's
Yeah.
that's what really confuses me. Like, what's the obsession with Israel? Like, we have West Africa, we have Ouagadougou, we have the Mali Empire, we have Oyo, we have just alone, like the just the Yoruba culture,
Benin
the way
Kingdom.
it is intact. Like, just that alone. Like, why are you so obsessed with being it's Israeli? It just doesn't. I don't get it.
I think
It's not obsession, but at least you tell me that you're confused, which is fair enough.
I think it goes back to what you
No, but
said
it's making point though, Jaguar.
beginning.
I think he is right in the
I
level.
think it goes back to what you said in your intro. They're trying to grab onto something.
Dynasty.
But I look, I mean, I know that the people from what is now Sierra Leone were brought over to America because of their expertise in rice.
Right.
I know that there were people who were iron, I don't know what you call them, but the blacksmiths that came about. Do you know the Kentucky Derby was a black thing? Because of all of the blacksmiths, that expertise came from the continent. So
right.
I would just like to see that. I would like to see more things written, spoke about with the empires that I saw. Because then Black American, we can still be mad at you motherfuckers who sold us. All right, but we have something to be proud of, right?
Yeah, you're probably kind.
And just get over the fact. I mean, I've come to grip with the fact, we were conquered in some sense, but what we did in America, nobody has matched. That's all I have to say.
All right, let me actually.
Very interesting, invisible man.
I gotta pass the mic to Skywalker. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Okay, Dynasty. Can everybody hear me good?
Yes.
Yeah, you club, brother.
Okay. All right. I think the whole issue of this identity thing is obviously it's an education issue. And I say this all the time. Black people are viewing the world through a Eurocentric perspective. So naturally, they share all of the Eurocentric values and even the Eurocentric view of the world. I mean, because it doesn't even make sense for people to identify with characters in a book where snakes can talk and oceans can be divided. To do such a thing is to make yourself out of touch with reality. And so that's what we see. We see a lot of our people's heads in the weeds. And because their heads are all in the sky and in the weeds and looking at all this esoteric and mysticism, they can't deal with what's really facing them in the real world, in reality. And in reality, no dude's coming out of the sky to save you. No spaceship is going to land to save you. In reality, you have to confront the forces in this reality that are opposed to you head on. And a lot of these religious clerics and all of this stuff, especially the black ones. I mean, they're out of touch with reality. I mean, how can you come to me because as soon as a snake utters a word in the Bible, everything after that must be taken symbolically. And there's nothing wrong with taking it symbolically. But what's wrong with what's wrong is when you look at it figuratively. I mean, what's wrong is when you look at it literally. When you say, hey, look, this stuff actually happened. And the European has such an understanding of rhetoric, since this is his language and the book is written in his language. He has such an understanding of a heightened understanding of rhetoric because he's in a advantageous position because we're using his language to communicate, such that he merges myth and reality, and this tends to confuse people who aren't grounded in reality. Like for instance, there's a place called London, right? Or in other words, Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter lives in London. There's an actual place called London, but no dude named Harry Potter ever existed. No place called Israel ever existed. The only place Israel didn't come onto the world stage until 1940 something. You see? And they just happen to name their country after a fictional land. There is no such language called Hebrew. Hebrew is a fictional language, just like the Elven language and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. These are just people who are interpreting a fictional book in such a way that's caused us to feel like we're the people in the book. But if we look at the book symbolically, then it's actually more beneficial to us. If we say that, hey, look, our struggle is like these characters in the book called Hebrews, because in this book, this fictional group of people called the Hebrews was stolen from their land and went to go work somewhere else. And this actually happened to us in actual real life. Our people were taken from Africa and went to work somewhere else. But once you start to try to put yourself in a place, in a world where dragons exist and where snakes can talk, and when you can touch somebody and who's lame and he be able to walk again, you have got out of touch reality. And what's most important now. Hold on, brother.
Sorry.
Hold on, brother.
No, when you finish, I beg
hold
your
on,
question.
brother. Can I finish? Can I land?
I apologize.
You can save your question and let me land.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. All right, calm down.
And the problem with that is, you see, you made me forget my point.
I beg your pardon.
God.
Yeah,
But
please stop doing that,
I'm
bro.
going
Please
next,
stop.
bro.
But let me finish. Let me finish my point. Okay, so once you, not only are you out of touch with reality, but most importantly, you cannot deal with the issues that are confronting you in the real world because you are so out of touch with reality. You're so dwelling on this mysticism and interpretation. There is no truth in the Bible. The only thing that you can get is interpretation. That's why you can read one verse and a million different preachers gonna interpret it different ways. And that's why when you get into these different arguments with these Hebrew Israelite brothers, they always got a different interpretation. Well, no, it's saying Zechariah so-and-so, so-and-so. This mean, no. When they say serpent, they don't.
Skywalker, your Obama phone. Hey, Y Bay gifted 10 Search for Uhuru memberships. Hey, okay. I don't know how that works. I know about my memberships, but I don't know how when you gift them, like, do you choose 10 people? Y Bay 7037. I don't know how that works. But Y Bay, I appreciate you. Thank you, my brother. We lost Skywalker. Skywalker's Obama phone. Yeah.
They directly addressed me. Can I go next?
No, let N'Golo go because you guys did address N'Golo. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's itemized points. First of all, dude, that's invisible, man. I've been dropping primary sources the entire time in the back chat, so I don't know what you're talking about. It shows directly firsthand archaeologist digs. It says nothing in there about any culture that mimics the Levant. It's uniquely in the West African corridor. Dude, whatever. I'm not even gonna call you Mizraim, bro. You are confused, bro. Like, you come on here and talk, what you just said about history is nonsense. Anybody methodologically, bro, that's not how you conduct historical research. First of all, you talking about Ethiopia. That's an exonym. Of course it's gonna be on maps. The people, the same Greeks. Can you stop interrupting me? I didn't interrupt. I didn't come on here when you was talking, man.
You addressing me.
I did not come on here when you was talking.
Hold on. What Mike Pharaoh? So when people were addressing N'Golo, he didn't say nothing. So don't interrupt him. Go ahead, N'Golo.
Yeah, so dude is pseudo and confused. Of course they're gonna label it Ethiopia. That's their term. The people in those areas that they're talking about south of the Sahara that they had never traveled to, and when you look at the maps, it'd be cut off past that because they had no interaction with the people. The only people they had, you could say, the Oromo. That's not even our people. That's way east. But you're not going to find any quote unquote West African ethnicity that's going to call themselves Ethiopian. That's nonsense. Just because it's a attestation that you read in some Greek, supposedly that you read in Greek, because the only thing that you've ever said is the first 4 digits of the Greek alphabet, which I doubt you speak classical Greek at all. But anyways, back to the point what Jagun was saying, bro. Don't come on here and talk about my name, not N'Golo, bro. My name is N'Golo. I'm not confused like you trying to claim some Lamarudu, and I know my people directly.
We spoke about Lamarudu.
Like,
we spoke about that.
Finish, bro. Let him finish.
Let him finish, bro. You not no Jew. You
all that stuff is fake. Y'all don't come from Bilal. Y'all are from that area where y'all come from, bro. Stop. Y'all need to be comfortable with who y'all are, man. Stop with
What
the
name did
nonsense.
your parents give you? You be comfortable with who you
Bro,
are.
let
Nah,
him
it
finish.
don't. Not, my parents gave me Ngolo. That's the name they gave me.
Yeah, I bet.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what it's good over here. You need to
But
you need to stop. You need to stop coming on with the pseudo nonsense, bro.
what
Learn who
pseudo
you
shit?
are.
What pseudo?
Stop
I
coming with
asked
the
questions. What
stop
I
coming with
did
the
was
pseudo
to ask
nonsense because
questions.
you
I
can't
didn't
prove
point any fingers.
empirically prove none
But
of the
of
stuff you
course,
be talking about.
you're
None of
vexed.
it.
You're in a vexed mood, so you're talking shit.
Nah,
But
it
it
ain't
doesn't
no
mean
vex
Bro,
anything.
y'all,
mood, bro.
You are in a
bro, y'all
vexed
was
mood,
going off.
You a grown adult.
Let
and
Ngolo
you're a
finish.
young boy. Is that what you
Ja,
want me
nah,
to say? So
you
what?
a grown adult up
let the
there
man finish.
agreeing with idiots, bro. Like it's just nonsense.
You're
The stuff.
talking rubbish.
Black people are gonna get nowhere with y'all's methodology and y'all's outlook as
Black people
far
are
as
going to get everywhere with
when it
you.
comes to
Let's all
deciphering
listen to
information.
Ngolo.
Bro,
Ngolo
stop
knows
interrupting me,
everything.
bro. You grown as hell. Have some self-respect,
It
bro.
doesn't
You
mean
have
it
no
doesn't.
discipline.
Hold
Bro,
on.
you
One mic.
Let us respond,
Jagoon.
Dante.
He didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt him,
Yeah,
Jagoon.
it's not
Go
that he
ahead,
didn't
Ngolo.
interrupt me, but he's talking rubbish about
bro,
me.
you were talking
Bro,
rubbish for like 30
y'all was doing it
minutes.
the whole time. I didn't say nothing.
Ngolo, hold on. This is the problem, Jagoon. Now, you think he's talking rubbish, but then when I call out the pseudoism of black people claiming to be the Hebrews, you say that's rubbish. So let this man finish.
What I said.
Let
All
him
right,
finish, man.
fair enough. I mean,
Let this man
Let him
finish.
finish.
Yo, you don't just say nothing. Let the man finish. Go ahead, Ngolo.
No worries.
Dude cannot
Shit, we'll see.
substantiate none of these pseudo false claims that they made. Again, like I said, bro, if y'all are finna make these drastic claims and come up with these drastic theories, have drastic evidence. Toyin Falola is one of the highly attested, probably the most foremost highly attested, quote unquote, Yoruba scholars, bro. In all of this crap that y'all are talking about, nothing is in his book. He has the most comprehensive book about Yoruba culture that's highly attested in academic circles. There's none of it in there is about no menorah. Nothing in there is about no Star of David. Nothing in there is about no coming from. He dispels all of the pseudo stuff about Lamarudu and all of the Yoruba that want to be tied to Bilal, bro. He dispels all that nonsense, bro. Be who y'all are and be comfortable who y'all are, man. That's all I
I
gotta
don't know
say.
what you're saying, bro, but you're saying it in a very vexed mood.
Because y'all tried to
Laughable.
clown him for like 30 minutes when he was trying to make his point.
30
I want to
minutes? I've
get on.
not spoken for 30 minutes. Always
Shit, who
exaggerating.
believes that, man? Who believes that? But
I do.
anyway, I want to comment on what you and Farrell was saying earlier, man. Y'all kind of came at us as a group saying that people are not teaching y'all the real history.
Dennis, I asked you a question because I knew I was going to get bited out. In terms of asking the last person who spoke, I wanted to ask him a question because he was speaking about realities and he was speaking about the Bible. And I just want to ask, is the planet Earth that we are living on not full of mystery? If it's
Oh
not
my
full of
God, man!
mystery,
Jagoon,
Is
man.
this
Bro,
one of
you a
those
no, I'm
grown
asking
serious?
ass
a question.
man. You a grown
All
ass
right,
man,
fair
bro.
enough. You
Right.
guys
Jagoon,
just think in the physical.
Jagoon.
Just think in the physical. Well done.
Jagoon, go
Jagu is
get go
100%
be a
right.
Hebrew,
Go
man. Go
ahead,
be a Hebrew.
Jagu.
It's
I
too
mean,
ridiculous, man. It's too
Why is
come
it
on,
ridiculous.
Jagoon.
ridiculous? I'm asking a serious
Because,
question.
bro, I'm explaining
Of
you
course it is, but
exactly why,
I don't
bro.
know what that has to do with Noah's Ark, Jagoon. Like,
No,
okay,
it's not.
Right.
are you trying to say
Stop that.
Noah's
Stop
Ark?
that.
Are you trying to
Stop
say it's
trying to
Noah's Ark?
think what I'm asking. Answer the
Well,
question.
yeah,
I'm
of
asking.
course the world is filled with mystery, but Noah's Ark is
Okay,
not
then
real, Jagoon.
why is it therefore if the
And then
world
you're
is full
not
of
Shem,
mystery?
and we're not Hamites,
Wait,
Jagoon.
wait. Don't
And it's not actually
presume.
full of
You know
Don't
how
mystery.
I'm gonna
presume
tell
what I'm
you why,
saying.
bro.
And Mr. Forefather, who said that we should
It's
be
full of
behave.
truth,
You
Jagu. Hold
behave.
on.
You
Just like
behave. I'm speaking. I'm
there's
speaking,
also a lot of
Forefather. Forefather,
facts in the world.
this is not
Not
your show.
understanding.
It's not your
Bro, it
show.
sounds
That's
like
why
it's
we have
your
to
show. All the
understand the
talking
world
you've been
is
Yeah,
doing.
full of
well, that's good. Now, what I'm trying to say to you,
there are
if you'd
facts.
allow me to speak, is if this world is indeed full of mystery, as we as
It's not
human beings
full of mystery.
all understand, why can't we question what is mysterious, what is unknown, what is not clear? Why can't we ask
I
these
I
questions?
can give you an answer,
Questioning
bro.
based on
You can
facts, not
question
based on
anything,
belief.
but you got to be willing to hear the.
Forefather, shut your mouth.
Questioning based on facts, not
You
on
got to be
belief.
willing to.
What facts in your life has
Okay,
facts
Oh, I
changed?
was going the same
Jagoon,
way.
listen.
Like
Hold on,
reality.
guys. Hold on, Tunaji. Tunaji, something's wrong with your mic. But Jagun, if you want to be a Hebrew, that's okay. Be Hebrew.
I don't want to be a Hebrew. I'm asking questions.
If that's the mystery, if that's the mystery, you want to be a Hebrew. Hey, go be a Hebrew.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, listen.
What I need from you, therefore, what I need from you, therefore, search for Uhuru. What I need from you is to allow people to speak their own mind, as opposed to when it interrupts your favor, you want to castigate them or shrink them or pseudofy them.
I'm not.
That's unfair. As a moderator, that is bias. It's called bias.
Bro, you interrupt everybody every 3 seconds when you don't like something.
I didn't interrupt you.
Bro, you interrupt him like fucking 5 times.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Johnny.
Pass the mic, Job, with all these pseudo.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Go ahead, Johnny.
So what I wanted to say was, at first I was trying to hear this to see if it's a important conversation, but dude, so-called Pharaoh Mizraim kind of came at us trying to say that like what we're doing is harmful, or like I forgot the word he kept saying, but he's like we're taking things out of history and all this stuff. By trying to ask people to bring up actual facts and think logically or critically about what they're saying or what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. When you get into like this make-believe nonsense type of pseudo land, that's more harmful than anything. You might feel good about it or whatever, but you're doing way more harm than good. Okay. He kind of made it personal going after Flex when he was talking about it earlier, but I'm trying to think, what specifically did he ask? What kind of questions is he bringing up that somebody's running from? Or not bringing up with actual facts. I'm not saying where you got to get the facts from, but you got to give some type of source. That's what he's asking for, to have a source, not just some shit you heard in a YouTube video with piano music playing in the background or whatever. You got to look at what actual facts is. That's what's most important. That's how you get to actual real conclusions. We can be able to look and study and see what's actually there. He's asking for peer-reviewed evidence and peer-reviewed claims to be brought up. So if you have somebody who's a PhD or whatever in a certain field, in order to get that, you have to have published work. So we want to see who you're talking about, to see how reputable they are. Okay, where they have as far as a background. Anybody can come with a background, yeah, but let's examine that information and come to our own conclusion. Instead of just taking a couple of words that you say and just mixing it up or whatever and trying to make it out to be like some type of sense. But it's not Eurocentric to even say something like that. But you got to deal in facts. You got to deal with actual evidence. And when you come for us, bro, you're going to have to speak to the actual facts or use actual examples of what you're saying with this whole scamming thing. Nobody's trying to sell anybody anything. They're just making sense and debunking the things that you're coming up with. And if it's that easy to do, then you got to think about the choices you made in life that makes it so easy to debunk the claims that you're making. They fall apart when you're not sitting in front of somebody and them telling you this stuff without having nobody to challenge or correct the things that they're saying that's wrong. And when it falls apart in front of you, that's why y'all take it to heart. But the truth is, man, you got to look at this stuff critically yourself and come to these conclusions. It's good that when it comes here, you find out that it's not the sword, the mighty weapon that you thought it was. You found out it's a cardboard sword that you're coming out trying to attack with. But you got to do the research yourself to make sure you don't end up looking stupid at the end of the day. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. I want to respond. Okay, now, brother, you are talking to someone who has already done the research. I've been there and done that. I used to believe in the same things these guys believe in. Okay, but the only difference between me and them, I woke up and realized that it's all fake, it's all fabricated, and it's all made up modern day racist BS. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, now listen. What I'm saying is, the history that Ngolo believes in is fake history. It's modern day.
What's fake about it, bro?
Yeah, what history do I believe in? I'm like, what history do I believe in?
I forgot to get on him. I forgot to get on him about saying that about DNA too, bro. You think because DNA is modern that it doesn't exist? DNA has always existed. We just have a way to interpret it now.
Brother, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, but I forgot that point.
There is no. He doesn't believe in ancient texts. That's why he say that the people in the sub-Saharan Africa were not.
What are you talking about?
Okay, because
let him finish.
But he's describing something to me that's not true though. You can't do that, man. That's not true.
Racist, white supremacist ways of teachings. Okay.
What? No, wait. Hold up. What text do?
What ways of teaching is he talking about? Bro, you're gonna have to defend these claims, man. You're gonna have to defend them.
I'm talking Pharaoh. What do you be specific? When you say he doesn't believe in sub-Saharan Africa, what did he?
Okay. Now the challenge I have for him is, okay, he say he's an African, right? Okay, and he says so I'm asking him, can he show a text? Can he prove that he's an African? Can he prove his ancient African ancestors before the Atlantic slave trade? Can you go beyond the English?
What?
Can you go before the English to prove your ancient African
days.
ancestors?
He's from
I'm
Senegal.
saying all your history is nothing ancient. Nothing is ancient about it. Bro, I've been there and done that. I used
Bro,
to be
what are
there,
you
okay?
talking? Did you
I
just
used to
hear the
believe that
reply this
nonsense.
man just
I
had?
woke
Hold
up.
on.
That makes no sense.
Pharaoh.
Answer the
This is
question.
Pharaoh. This
Okay,
sounds like
so Flex, he's asking you, how can you prove you're African, bro?
I'm talking Pharaoh. Pharaoh. This sounds like prison.
Flex.
This just sounds like I'm lost. What is he? So he needs to know his ancestors before what?
Before slavery.
Why?
Well, how do you want me to prove that? How do you want me to prove that?
Don't worry about proving it. It doesn't actually mean anything.
No, I'm asking him. I'm asking him how he wants me to prove it, so I can say whether I can or can't.
No, it's impossible. What he's talking about is an impossibility.
You can prove it. There's a lot of ways. So look.
I'm asking him what he's trying to say for proof. I'm trying to see what his methodology. What methodology would he accept?
Would
That's
you
what I'm
accept
trying to
DNA?
see.
Would you accept records? What are you looking for?
Hold on, brother. Let me talk.
Family members?
I'm talking about the ancient texts before English. I'm talking about before all these late fabricated white man's.
From what age, bro?
Brother, I can't provide that. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I cannot provide that.
As I said, I don't know why you guys.
Don't let him off the hook, bro. Don't let him off the hook. So how far?
I can give you primaries of my people group, but I don't have no uninterrupted attested line that's written down, brother. Like you know how, bro, you know how impossible and improbable that task is.
What does that not prove? What does that not
that's
prove?
retarded.
No. What I'm saying is there was a real history that existed before the fake nonsense you believe in today. That's what I'm saying.
Brother, all right. So I'm gonna ask you now. I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. Validate through attested sources, primaries,
bro, you know
of your direct line, tying back to the lands that you talk about. You use the term Egypt and Kemet.
I want to know what he's calling fake, bro.
Can you share my screen?
I want to know what you consider fake, bro. Can you explain that? Because you saying shit.
Let him show his source. Let him show his source.
Doing that? Explain to us what's fake nonsense, just so we all are clear. Because you throwing these terms out, but
then. Look. I mean, I understand. Look, I understand where you're coming from because majority of
it is made up. It is imagination. It is fabricated.
You sound like you're saying something, but you're not saying nothing.
No, he sounds retarded.
No, hold on, guys. Be nice. I mean, some of us.
It ain't no nice, bro. It's not no nice. You gotta be real, bro.
That's all you got. That's all you got.
Nah, bro, that methodology is okay. Let me use the technical term. Slow. It's slow.
We need to learn. We some of us learn our history from different angles. Some of us learn our history from.
It's not about history, bro.
Nah, that's not what he's saying. What he's asking direct, it has nothing to do with what different language. He's asking for an uninterrupted attested line with his primary source. He cannot provide what he's asking me to. Like, because the time period that he's talking about, that he's going to try to draw from.
Why you hung up on impossibility?
I'm not. I want to see if y'all realize how crazy this man sounds.
No, we do. We do. Just allow it. Just allow it. It's okay, bro. It's all right.
Flex.
You know, it's just rubbish. I don't know why you guys aren't able to understand rubbish.
You don't know what the hell you talk about, Ngolo. You don't know what you're talking about because
it's so personal.
Show the source, bro. Show the source.
It's so personal, mate. It's rubbish. It's terrible.
I agree with that.
Let him share his screen, man.
Flex, you gotta remember to keep the argument at the right point, bro, because you don't want to make it seem like he's actually making sense. And sometimes
brother, anybody who thinks that what he's asking makes sense is an idiot. So I don't have any.
It's only you that think that.
You can't say that, Angolo. You can't say that. You can't say that.
I can say that. I can say that for a fact.
Flex.
That's a factual statement. Do you not understand the methodology that he just asked me to provide and how nonsensical that is?
Stop crying.
You gotta show the nonsense, bro. Like some people won't understand. they don't really get things like they was saying. They're different cultures and they don't really have the same understanding necessarily. You got to
You
bring
see
it
the
to the
thing is
point
like,
to the questions that
Golo,
he can't answer. You
like
gotta
me,
you
we
gotta
have
hit him with the
oral.
logic that he
Sorry.
cannot answer.
Like me, most of the things I say, we have oral and written history, and not a lot of
That's
group of
fine.
people in Africa that have that. You see, and when I speak here, most of the time, I actually read most of it. 90% of what I say when it comes to history, I read it. And the reason why we're able to do that because we have ancient textbooks that we manage to write in our own languages. Okay, it
Nah,
was
but
written
brother,
in
the
the time.
time he's
Yeah,
not what
yeah.
you the time period you're talking about. He's not gonna classify that as ancient.
Yeah, but we can't stick on
What
him and what he's
Because
saying.
from the seventh
his
century?
baseline of
There have
ancient
From
been
seventh
is
more
Egypt.
century?
important.
Is Egypt
There
and
have been
classical
more
Greek.
Bro, let's
important.
just give him
You're
too
not
much
going to
credit,
provide a
man.
source. You're not going to provide any written source within the area that you're from past
So
The
before the
thing
flex.
seventh
So
is,
century.
the
flex.
thing is,
So
If
the thing
flex,
is,
bro.
panel. The thing is,
When you
From the
there have
flex,
been
seventh
much
century
more.
down, we have written history. Right?
not, but
bro, flex.
No,
again,
no, no,
When
no,
you
no,
asking
no.
him for
he's
things, bro, you gotta the way you're phrasing it is like instead of just asking him for the source, you could just get specifics where he's getting it from, and then you can pick that apart. But
No, but
he's not when
sometimes you see, this word pseudo. It's a real
bro.
word. I like it or I don't like it. However, I think we can distinguish quickly.
No, bro, you in the
Somebody,
same camp.
wait. You put me where you want. It's up to you. Um, we can distinguish. His question was a fair question. It doesn't even formulate a question. So why we are hanging up on it, I don't know. We just like
I
to
was trying
argue.
to illustrate. I was trying to get him
No,
to show
I
the
think
source
you
to
like
illustrate how
personal argument.
nonsensical he was. Then when he provided
No,
the source, I
we
was
know
gonna
it's nonsense,
dispel
bro.
it.
Wait, we know it's nonsense.
Is he
You don't have to.
gonna
We
put
know
something
it.
on the screen?
Yeah,
No.
that's all I'm
I
waiting
mean,
for.
do that. What for? What for? Based on what he said,
Bro,
you know.
my thing is his thing that got me was when he was making these claims about fake history or like, he didn't want to get into specifics because he knows it's going to fall apart. But that's what I want to hear. I want to hear what his problem with DNA.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead,
Well,
man. I want to hear
I
you
tell you
actually
this
start making
because
claims so we can pick them
everybody.
apart.
Brother,
Okay, wait.
I
If
want
I
to
may,
finish. Brother,
go for it.
Well, actually, Vero, you got Pharaoh. You got 30 seconds.
You
You got
got
to
the
pass
floor,
the
man.
V. And you got to pass the V. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
30 seconds.
Pass
Yeah,
the
yeah.
V.
Yo, okay. Now, what I'm saying to you is you're out of touch with reality and you're out of touch with time. Okay. Once
Okay.
upon a time, okay, DNA, the field of DNA, English, it did not exist, brother.
DNA didn't
Was only
exist once
history
upon a
was
time.
being told. Oh, history was only being told through ancient texts. So how you
Okay.
gonna say that?
So
Everything
So what if
today
there?
matters.
Do you believe?
But the
How
people,
about new
let him finish,
discovery?
bro. Let him
hold on,
finish.
brother. I'm trying to finish. Hold on. But okay. But you trying to say that what the people wrote about 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, didn't matter, and they were dumb, and they didn't know their own time because of all this fake modern day fabricated ways of teachings. You think you know better than the ancients? These Negroes are scammers. They trying to act like they was there 1,000 years ago, and they were not.
Okay.
The people were
This is
writing
a
about
straw man.
No,
This is a straw man fallacy.
Hold on.
These
This
guys
is
are
a
Let him
complete
scammers.
straw
Let him
man.
All right,
finish, bro. Let him finish.
I got to pass the mic. Go ahead, V.
Pass the
All right, you
mic,
done?
please, because
Go
these
ahead,
guys
V.
are just loving
All
this
right.
rubbish.
So let me start with this, bro.
I said
So
V.
when
I said V.
anything written down in ancient times
V.
is
I got to
considered
pass the
facts.
mic to V.
So there's no such thing as
I
myths
got
or
to pass
novels,
the
Who's
mic.
that
something
Why are
like
you
that,
speaking?
talking
stories.
over me? Why are you talking over? I got to pass the mic to V. Go ahead, V.
Yo, hello
All right.
guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Dan is here. I mean, we always talking and go around and come back to this religious and how some of us don't want to accept who we are and we claim to be anything else but who we are. With regards to this ancient African traditions and customs. The reason why many of our ancestors accepted these religions when it was brought to us, because a lot of the practices that they do, we were doing them. The circumcision, naming a child on the seventh day, and so forth and so on. We did many of those. I mean, sometimes I look at the Jewish practices and I see we do similar thing. I wouldn't say the same, but similar. in my traditions and customs in West Africa. And our tradition and custom is older, far older than theirs. But we disregard our own and accept everybody else's. And I think ours is pseudo or juju or whatever it is that they call it. I mean, like walking around a black box in a white garment. We do that in Ghana. In our kind tradition, we do it. It's usually by the chief priest and the priestess and so forth. But we don't appreciate anything that we have and seems to accept everybody else's own and throw ours away. That, like, it doesn't matter. A lot of these things, the reason why our ancestors even accepted these religions was there was a lot of things that they recognized that we were doing. It aligned with their way of doing things. That's why they accepted them. But we really need to go back and accept who we are and forget about all these things that we're trying to call ourselves. Sometimes you look at it and it's a bit, sometimes I find it very sad that we can't accept who we are and try to do better. But to trying to get away from it and we are this and that, And also with regards to empires that were in West Africa, and I heard, I think Africa said that to the old Ouagadougou Empire, which is often referred to as the Ghana Empire, but in the actual empire was called the Ouagadougou Empire, and it was the rulers of this empire that were called Ghana, Ghana
Yes,
or
that's
something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Ghana, yeah. Ouagadougou.
We were talking about it was barbaric, and somebody like Julius Caesar, which is highly revered in the European, what do we call the European? God, I've got a word. It might come to me. In their classics and everything that they revere. Some Julius Caesar, it's estimated he killed about almost 1 million people. Everywhere he went, and he was waging a lot of wars against within within Europe.
Outside his territory, not inside.
Well, where they come and they conquer you, they claim that your territory belongs to them. So
outside, yeah, not
no.
inside.
That's
But
not
that
the
was
point.
during a
That's the point
specific
I'm trying
time
to
though
make.
too, bro. It wasn't the entire time of the Ouagadougou
Sorry,
Empire
man.
that was going on either, brother. So
No,
don't
but I don't
mischaracterize
even
it.
think the Ouagadougou. Africa, we try to sort of castigate ourselves, and so we were so barbaric. I love the things that somebody like Alexandra, who's the Macedonian guy, who's also highly revered, he was just as barbaric. If you go, it's like they come to you, they conquer you, and it's either you accept their way of things or you be dead. You can either accept it or choose them, and they'll kill you. They used to massacre women and children for nothing, for sport. So to say that, the Ouagadougou Empire was so barbaric, that's why our own people could connive with those the people coming from the north to destroy it. It's not right. You have to look at history in its proper context and say, well, this is what happened then. Why they did it, nobody knows, because we can only read a text or a little bit of evidence, archaeological evidence that we will find that will tell us why their mindset was like that. We don't know, but we need to learn. I mean, it's good to learn history, because people that do not learn history carry on to repeat the mistakes again.
Do you also agree some? Sorry, V, do you also agree some empire have to fall for another empire to rise?
Well, I mean, empires always do fall, and some
Thank
will
you.
rise.
That's the first. Well, that's the answer. The answer to that is the Ouagadougou have to fall for the Mali to rise. That's exactly what happened.
Well, fair enough.
Okay.
That
And
is
the people that
what
destroy the
happened.
Ouagadougou are the same people who built the Mali Empire.
Yeah, the Mali Empire was built
Okay.
mainly by the Mandinkas, wasn't it? And there
Yeah,
were
but
I mean, it's really a continuation, though. Really, if you're
yeah,
being
thank you. They're the same people that did. These are the same group of people who destroyed the Ouagadougou. Krumanta
yeah.
Kante. He the one that
And
expelled
to be
Kunta
and
Keita.
To
No,
be
no, hang
fair
on,
to the history, the empire was already.
hold on. Yeah, it was already done. It was at the end of it.
Yeah,
It was
it was
already
going. It
done.
was already dissipated
It
by
was.
the time the Almoravids and the Tucalors came together.
That's
So
not the point. That
Yeah,
is not
thank
the
you,
point
thank you.
I'm
I don't know what
making.
wait.
No,
It
no,
was
I'm the
listen,
one
right?
talking. Don't tell me wait,
I
wait,
am
wait. I'm
okay.
the one
Okay,
talking.
V. All right. Am I bad? I
Bro, let her
apologize.
finish,
I
man.
give you the mic.
Yeah, let her finish.
What I'm saying, I'm not talking about what came after or why they did it, but I'm just pointing the fact that we keep castigating ourselves. It's we were so barbaric. But if you look in history, all empires were barbaric, and even the current one going on is barbaric. America. Okay, so it's a mindset of the human being. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we should stop castigating ourselves. You know, the reason why this happen is because the reason why sometimes some people used to raid other communities to sell them into slavery was because of their troublesome tribe. Let's go and raid them. And that's how we do. This is what we did, and we're still doing it today. This tribe is I don't get along with. Well, let's take arms and go and fight them. You know, so we need to stop castigating ourselves. We were no more barbaric than the other people. They say, America threw 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, right? Don't you think that's barbaric? But you say that, what our ancestors did, they were worshiping this and that because of that they were barbaric. But then we adopt other religions that also, if you look at the history of those religions, they were just as barbaric. So
no, they were worse. It's not even when you look at historically, when you juxtapose the quote unquote empires that we're talking about compared to empires in other areas, barbarism is not this. It's nowhere near the same that what they're trying to compare to with us.
Way past. Way past.
They were horrible. Ours is not bad compared to theirs.
If you look at somebody like Genghis Khan and the kind of mayhem that he caused, what we did in Africa it's nothing. You know, so we really should stop castigating ourselves, and this is something that is sort of it's that's why a lot of people don't want to accept who they are. Today I was looking at somebody was talking about what was going on in Sudan, and he's a Sudanese himself, and he was explaining the fighting and why, and the reason why they're fighting is because the so-called Africans that they believe they're Arabs are fighting the Africans that they've been there for God knows how long, but they call them slaves because because our mind is so twisted that you live on your own ancestral land, somebody come and invade you, conquer you, or whatever it is, and you live with them for years, and they tell you you're slave, and you accept it, right? And he was saying that those Arabs are actually attacking those African tribes, the ones they claim in the Arab. He said they just riffraff, they're rubbish, they have nothing on the land they live on. But those ones, the ones that live on the other side of the lands that like what's the place, the Darfur and the middle, the central belt, that they are attacking them severely. They have a lot of wealth on their land. And those people, Africans that they believe they're Arabs, have been helped and aided by people coming from the Middle East. And this is what we Africans are doing. So the same thing's going on with the Sahelians. And people say, the Sahelians should stop. The Sahelians, I pray every day that they should crush these people to the pulp if they don't stop the fight. Because if you do not do that and show people that, enough is enough, they'll be continuously doing it to us. And they come in, okay, let's say, for instance, they manage to overcome the Sahelians, people will push down south. And the southern part of West Africa is already overcrowded. You're going to have more conflicts down there. So I'm praying that the Sahelians crush those idiots up there, that they don't know who they are, they can't accept who they are. And if they cannot live with us and they think they're Arab, they should bugger off and go back to the Arabian Peninsula. We don't need them in Africa there. That's all I would say.
Okay, I hear you. I agree to most of your points. We should stop. Castigating ourselves. I agree. As I said to you, we were we were a part of the Ghana Empire, were subjugated, oppressed for a long time. The Fula, the Mandinka, the Kujabis, most name me, all these West African group were actually oppressed, and a lot of the people were captured. Millions of slaves died in the Trans-Sahara, being sold to the Arabs. If that's not bad enough, it was actually so bad. The transatlantic slavery looked like a like a pond in the sea. If that wasn't the but it was at the end of the empire anyway. But one thing that we agree, sometimes some empires have to fall down for another empire to grow. And what came after the so-called Ghana Empire, it was two events. One was the invasion of the Almoravid, where basically we have to expand instead of having to stay in Africa and continue the same practice. We have to go. Basically, we have to expand to Europe, where Toledo is today, like in Al-Andalusia. And after that, it was the Mali Empire. So the Mali Empire rose, and it became even more bigger than.
Brother, but how you're framing it that's not accurate though, because if you're talking about the trade, it augmented after the fall of Ouagadougou, like exponentially.
What's
exactly.
that?
It destabilized the area for real. Like
most of their trade.
Yeah, but the Mali Empire did.
No, it did. But
really
when they reestablished the trade routes during Mali, the trade of people went up exponentially after that.
It went up.
Yeah, because look, Krumanta, Kante. Hold on, Krumanta. So I'll finish. Good. I'll finish to my. I'll pass it on. Krumanta Kante expelled, somebody and his entire, subjugate the entire ethnic group. Who was Sunjata Keita? Now Sunjata Keita have to go to an exile for a long time and find allies to come back and actually, seek vengeance to actually build something new from the dust. So, this is what happened.
Yeah, but that was a hereditary dispute, though. That was Samantha Kante was his brother, though.
You guys have
They were brothers.
See, you see, Africa, what you do is you start talking about an empire, then you talk about human rights issues and oppression and all those things. This is common to all empires. Don't bother about that part. You have to talk about the nature of the empire. What you are doing now is trying to say that the Ghana Empire was like a slave trading empire, while in reality, most of their trade is based on gold. However, they did trade slaves, that's for sure. They did trade slaves. But compared to the one that came after, like the earlier speaker said, the earlier speaker was mostly not gold, it was mostly slaves. And the West African and Central African slave trade was mostly slave trade. Wasn't gold or natural resources. It was human beings they were mostly selling. That's what makes them different. And they are all based on most of these Abrahamic religions. So the Ghana Empire that is not even based on Abrahamic religion traded less slaves than the ones that are based on Abrahamic religion.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
That's the fact of history. That's
no,
the
it's
fact
not
of
true.
history.
It's not true.
It's
not
no,
true.
That is true, brother. That is true.
No, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. To say the Ghana Empire sold less slaves than the Mali Empire.
Why the dude sold less, brother? The trade routes weren't even that well established during that time.
The Mali Empire, it was a longer period. It was a much longer period.
The Mali Empire did not sell more slaves than Ghana Empire. I disagree with that.
No, they augmented it. You're not going to be able to itemize it literally. But if you're talking about the volume according to the records, the further
volume,
you go,
I'm talking about the volume and the time.
What you have to talk about. I tell you what you have to talk about is where those slaves were going. They were going They were going to the so-called Middle East. So to characterize it as a Abrahamic kind of situation is more accurate than what you're saying, because the Islam was growing at the time and growing quite rapidly in Africa. And what they were doing was taking people away and enslaving them. And the Mali Empire was much longer than the Ghana Empire. So it kind of stands to reason that they would have trafficked more slaves. I don't know why you're defending that. Why?
Who told you the Mali Empire was longer than the Ghana?
I read it.
No,
what do you mean who told me?
Ouagadougou's like from 6th century to what 12.
And the
Yeah,
Mali.
I don't think
Ghana
the
Empire outlasted the
yeah
Mali Empire.
the Ghana was way longer than the.
You know what? I'm not gonna argue,
However,
man. I'm tired. I am tired. I got a headache.
All
I
right,
am
see you
tired.
later.
I'm
See you
telling you,
later, bro.
most slaves
It's good. It's good when you're talking about things like that. You read what you're talking about, not just talking about it based on some, I don't know, some
See,
pseudo.
that's what I
I'll
told you.
provide sources again. I'll put the sources in the back.
I think Africa, you should have checked that the Ghana Empire traded more in slaves than traded more in gold than in slaves. That is a fact of the
No, they
situation.
sold.
Even in
It was
the
sourced
longer
and gold. To Niger, I agree. I agree. It was based on sales
why
and
you
so and
emphasizing
gold.
the slave part?
No, but
Why were you emphasizing the slave part?
To Niger, wait. I did not say it's just slaves, but they traded most of these slaves that went to the Trans-Sahara. Okay, came from the Ghana Empire, not the Mali Empire. Okay, thank you. That was the point.
No. Actually, they were during their time. They traded more slaves than other kingdoms. That's true. But when the Mali Empire came and the Songhai Empire, they scaled it up. Come on,
Yeah,
you
they
know
did.
that.
That's facts. You can't dispute that.
That's the way I understand it. That's the way I understand it.
And yeah, the Ouagadougou Empire was way longer than the Soninke. I mean, not Soninke. Way longer than the Songhai and the Mali.
Okay, I can accept that.
It was from the 7th century to the early 11th, and then
I
there
can
was
accept
from the
that.
12th to the 13th.
Very good. The thing is now, the discussion on I think generally the progression of slaves would have continued because it was going to one place at the end of the day, going to one region, and I think it was religious. You know, at the end of the day.
No,
And also, if I may, the Mali Empire also majority of the slaves during the Mali Empire they within the continent. They wasn't really slaves. They was more like servants and caste system. It wasn't like people who were captured and sold outside the continent or in any form.
I think
If it
that's more
happened,
what went on
It was
in the
always like
coastal
that
areas.
though. Within. But the people that got sold that got sold in the Trans-Saharan, they went to the Middle East and they wasn't until he
that was
heard
the
from
Ghana.
again.
The Ghana went
But
straight to the Middle East.
it was more in Mali, like the brother said. The trade routes were more established during after the Qaeda converted to Islam. That's when it picked up as far as people.
But majority, I'm talking about majority of them were in between the continent. Some went out, absolutely yes, because we know that.
Okay, where did they go? Where did they go?
I can't speak on that. I haven't seen a source that parses that out.
Yeah, to the Middle East.
No,
to the Middle
the ones that you say that were within the continent. Who enslaved them?
Look, I don't want to go into this because it's going to go into.
No, I'm asking. It's a question.
No, I'm not going to go into this because I know. Listen, I know there's some ethnic group that's still seen as certain caste system in the region of West Africa, and who were
but that has always went on. Shay After Joe speaks about that in pre-colonial Black Africa.
Let's leave it. I swear I'm not gonna open the can of worms.
I understand, but
okay,
it's not.
Thank you. All right.
In Mauritania,
I want to cite my source, brother.
No. Just leave it.
In Mauritania right now, there are tribes there that, I mean, recently, I believe they've sort of defined themselves differently now than Mauritania.
Well, that's Ghana Empire to blame for that, sister. Mauritania, what you see in Mauritania now, you have the Ghana Empire to blame for allowing those people, the warrior king, who was the owner of Ouagadougou, for allowing those people to settle there at the first place. That's the problem.
But he didn't know that they was going to do all that, brother.
No, I agree. Ngolo, I agree, Ngolo. He didn't know they're gonna come like
the Tekras that work with the Amurabids against the Ghana Empire. Why are you distorting history? The Takros, which part of the Fulanese, Mandiki, and all those groups were part of the country, they worked with the Amurabids, whom are from the Mauritanian to this in North Africa. They were Barbers. They were not like our own fellow West Africans.
But it was more for the Spanish. That was more for the Spanish conquest, and that's what happened. They went out. Majority of them went out to Spain and Portugal. They didn't stay in there. Listen, I know because majority of them turned to Muslim. They went out to Spain and Portugal, and it was the first time African descent went to colonize outside Africa. That's just you just got to agree with the fact, and then we can move on.
Hold on. What you are doing is the Tekras that Fulanis are part of, they collaborated with the Abravis that are not West Africans.
Just like the Ghana Empire did.
Empire. Hold on.
Just like the Ghana Empire collaborated with them.
Let me finish now. They partnered with the Amravis against the Ghana Empire that was fighting against the rebels. The rebels were working with the Ghana Empire against the Amravis, and you worked with the Amravid kingdom itself against the rebels of the Barbers. You see what I mean?
To go outside to Spain. Yeah, that's how we managed to
collaborate a non-West African, a non-E1B1A group against E1B1A group. So let's not pretend. Why you trying to say is the Ghana Empire that is the one causing the problem in that area? You are the ones that invited non-West Africans into the region.
No, we did not. You see, you're trying to mix it up again. We just listen.
No,
we all know that. We all know that. We all just talked about how the Ghana Empire invited the Barbers into the region and traded with them before, while they connived with them to slave the native and export them to the Middle East. And then you have a problem with the same people. We have a problem with the same people aligned with the same Barber group, to destroy the empire, to go to Spain and conquer Spain and actually enlighten, and build a different civilization in Spain. What kind of bias do you have tonight? And then you sit there, you try to glamorize and minimize, exporting Africans to the Middle East as slaves. And you call yourself a Pan-African.
But brother, we gotta be honest though. Those Sanhanja Berbers and the Tukulor came together. They betrayed the Kaya Magan of Ouagadougou. We gotta be honest. But the empire was already dissipated.
Yeah, that's true. What do you expect? Do you expect anything less?
I mean, they had peacefully coexisted with them trading wise for like 300 years, so they didn't expect them to just trade on them like that.
Personally, the little that I've learned, that I do believe that the person that actually sort of destroyed the empire, it's Mansa Musa. Because this
that's not the same. The Ouagadougou is not the Mansa Musa. That's Mali. That's far later.
Together. It was this ethnic group. Yeah, it was a similar ethnic group, but they worked together. It was connected.
But it's not the same. It's not the same empire.
It's not him. It's not the same. Mali was
that's hundreds of years later.
Mali. This is before Mali Empire.
Yeah.
Mali.
Yeah. This is way before we talk. This is. Remember Ouagadougou? Sister, Ouagadougou was the first West African empire. Okay. So
sorry, I got it wrong. I got it wrong.
Okay.
I mean, I'm recollecting now. I'm recollecting.
Anyway,
you like to make blanket statements. Like, I don't know why you do that. I'm not sure that is true too. You can't just say Ouagadougou is the first West African empire. Where did he get that from?
It's the oldest attested one, but it's not the oldest though. It's the oldest attested by written records.
There might be things exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. They're probably way before that. They're probably way other things well documented.
I believe that Mansa Musa also caused a lot of damage because this guy was going to make.
Oh yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think
giving the Arabs ideas that these people down there, they've got wealth. And that also, brought a lot of invasions down there.
Historically, I'm not a fan of that Cater lineage. I'm gonna be honest. The Caters,
why not?
I mean, the Mali had its goods and bad, just like all empires.
They should have stayed. They should have stayed Konates and not Caters, man, because the Caters
what the lady said was, I've always I thought Mansa Musa was a total disgrace for what he did, because with that kind of wealth, he could have owned North Africa completely. He could have conquered the whole area.
He didn't.
I agree.
He
used to go and do Hajj. This is what religion has done to our people. He used it to go and do Hajj, basically.
That's a good point.
So he could have taken over North Africa. He could have raised an army and maybe history would have
He
been
didn't
different.
build an army.
Someone that
He didn't have a strong army. So by the time
No,
he
but
was off the Hajj and coming back with the Arabs got wind of it, that brought a lot of invasions down there too. That brought
It
in a
did.
lot.
yeah, I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. That's why sometimes I agree with Mr. Tunaja and Mr. Security. You know, when he said you always have to have security. Even though me and you disagree with certain things, there's certain things I agree with you, and you know we can't disagree all the time. That you cannot build an empire without securing it. You cannot have a country you can't without having security. And this is the fact, and this is the problem we never learn from as people of African descent. And you know, we people like Mansa Musa, obviously, yes, you know, there's good somebody. He was very good. He was a very good man. He had his heart was at the right place, or he was a bit naive. I wouldn't call him a traitor because a lot of people call him all kind of bad names. I disagree with that. He was a guy with a kind heart, and he
we are
got
not looking
betrayed.
at his
That's how I see
intentions.
it.
We are looking at the consequences of what he has done. I know he may be a good person, but
Hmm.
sometimes good acts can result in terrible outcomes and actually evil outcomes.
I
You see
don't
what I
even
mean?
know if he was a good person though, because
He
that
was. He
even
was.
that story with Abu Bakr, I don't know, bro. That sounds like a succession dispute. I don't think he traveled out to no ocean. I think Mansa Musa killed him, bro.
Wow. That's
Oh
deep.
God, no, no. Okay, I don't know
That's
about.
another
I never
story.
read about that in my history.
Yeah, because
Nah, no,
before
Yeah.
that's me extrapolating from the story though. Because when you look at
Um,
Decatur, it was a lot of those succession disputes, and that
no,
story
no.
is
If I'm
yes,
not
there
crazy.
was.
sure, if I'm not sure
Why would a
about
king
it,
just
I don't
leave?
talk about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before Mansa Musa got the throne, there was a lot of succession dispute. Yes, there
yeah.
was. That's definitely true. That is stated there. And even Mansa
Because
Musa, apparently he wasn't the right person that's supposed to take the throne, but he got it because of
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It
something.
was really Abu Bakr, but I don't know. They say
Mm.
he tried to go
well,
sail across the ocean, but I don't know
well,
about
he
that.
wasn't strong. Abu Bakr wasn't really strong. Look, you know, during his before him is when a lot of people run away to the coast of West Africa today. Most of the ethnic group that you see around the region, you know, like where you call Sierra Leone, Liberia, you know, Guinea, and you know the far coast. You know, the empire was really weak, and there was a lot of trouble going on. People ran away from there.
No,
So
that's
you know,
true.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. We listen. This is the sort of things that we need to talk about more, and this is where the more you dig deep into our empires, obviously, one thing I got to put my hand on. Yes, I need to stop being too negative about certain aspect of it, but there are a lot of positive things that came out. So we need to just dig deep into what our ancestors did. They
All
have
this,
made some mistakes that let us down to
all
where we are today, but they have done some great things that the world used to admire. You know.
I think whilst we have a lot of history to
Yeah.
unpack and depict and
Right.
understand, I
Yeah.
think we somehow forget today and what is happening in today's world. Today's world
Right.
is horrific. It's worse than ever. And I don't
I
think
agree.
black people sometimes have an understanding of the trouble that we are in and the opportunity that we have to jump somewhat forward because of technology and depending on how one uses technology. There is a lot that we as black people in the world can gain, but we are so disparate, desperate that we somehow aren't forming alliance, connectivity. If you don't want to call it unity, there needs to be a connectivity between all of us because it's necessary. It's necessary that we are somewhat self-aware. You know, this thing that's going on between FBA and I too got very little to do with FBA apart from they irritate me. And then what's going on in South Africa, I really align them. And then what's going on in Europe and the way the European is changing the scope of understanding as we speak. And these things I think are connected. And their connectivity would fall against us as black people globally. And I think we've got, as much. I'm a historian myself, and I do a lot of research. I've done a lot of research. However, where we are today is not. I think we've got more. We have more responsibility with today than we do have of yesterday. And unless we really understand what's happening today, it could be historical that brings us into the day, which we understand, but it's our future that we're really talking about. Those who have children, I don't know if you understand what world you brought your children into. This is a madness. The planet right now is worse than ever. It's worse than ever. So we tear each other down all the time and we enjoy it, I suppose. But there is more important things, I believe. And it seems to me also that when people make serious statements, and people have made serious statements on this platform, it seems that we can ignore those serious statements instead of really impacting them or them impacting us. And we look for people who are making, silly utterances that don't need any respect, really. And I don't know.
Before you carry on, your earlier submission just before a few seconds ago was excellent. The way you were able to enunciate the challenges that we face today and how they are all linked is actually a great way. You have your talents, and sometimes I don't want you to get distracted and start insulting and cursing.
Oh, I love a bit of an insult. I love a bit of an insult. You know me? Sorry.
You can't resist. So, but that was a good submission there, because I think we do have some significant challenges ahead of us, and we don't seem to be linking all this together from what is going on in South Africa, Europe, and even in the Middle East. They are all linked, and sooner or later they'll come after us. Sooner, one way or the other, is going to hit us, and we have to be ready for it. So I agree with that. Thank you.
Can I also add this? I don't know if anybody's following the World Cup. I know Americans don't really like football, or European, whatever.
Soccer.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that word. Even though it's in the English lexicon, that's a secondary word. It's football. All is football. Rugby is football. All of it is football at the end of the day. But anyway, in this football, what I've seen from Americans of all shades is a real appreciation of how the world looks. Because it seems to me that a lot of Americans didn't really understand that there were so many black people in the world. When we find black people represented in the Middle East, in Europe, even in Japan, black people are there. That should give everyone an understanding of our wealth in the humankind. Humanity is ours, but we overlook it. We overlook ourselves as the prime. I don't even want to boast and say prime human beings, but the way FBA doesn't make sense is as though they're the only people in the world, and they're not even representing Black America. So some of these things that they just mess my mind up. But the World Cup, for all its ills that we have seen, it's been good on showing America what the world really looks like, in my estimation.
Hey, can
All
I
right,
add
guys, let me read the super chat. Mrs. Sandman 8996 499 holla. I believe our great grandchildren in 4 or 5 generations will look back at us and call us the groundbreaking enlightenment generation. Let me pass the mic to M, then Trocon Ellis. They want to close out.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I'm listening to the show, enjoying the show, and the last segment was kind of gut wrenching. Listening to V, I guess she introduced the concept. I guess when she gets on, she wants to downplay the atrocities that Ghana played, the slavery, saying it's not that bad because Julius Caesar killed so many people, Stalin did so much, Genghis Khan did so much, so we not that bad. You see what I'm saying?
In context.
So I'm looking like, and then you got this guy, Angola. Oh, yeah, sure. He just goes along with anything positive about Africa, whatever, regardless of the atrocity. Oh, Mali, of course, you did the slavery too. And then Africa saying, oh, that was interior. It's not like what y'all was doing. Y'all was selling people that. No, it's the whole discussion was like listening to Stalin and Hitler saying who's the worst. And the whole conversation is who about Hebrew Israelites, see the identity crisis. And then I guess I'm giving a synopsis of what I heard in the show. And a lot of the Africans actually agree. Some of the Caribbeans agree with the Israelite philosophy, Dragoon, and they getting down,
I didn't
shot
agree.
down.
I was asking questions, but carry
Right,
on.
you was a curiosity, but they was shooting you down like it's like a thought police going on. But my opinion is this: when we have children, half of your genetics is destroyed. Right, you got 500 years of your genetics being destroyed. Can we really call ourselves Africans at this point? Especially the rituals and the lack of accountability. Like I don't even think about slavery, to be honest with you. I think about the future.
I'm sorry,
But every
but
time it
the
seems like
current
the people
generation of
talk,
Africans
they
do have
go
to be
right back
accountable
500
to
years
anybody.
into the past. How can we
No,
ever really move forward?
listen.
Go ahead.
In this world, right? There were atrocities everywhere. It happened, and I was only trying to put it into context. But to constantly go back and say the Africans did this, the African did this, and the lack
I
of
mean, if it's
accountability,
true, it's
I
etched in
was not
stone. Like,
I was not living
go
at the
ahead, go ahead.
time it
I
happened.
mean,
I
Pharaoh
wasn't
was
living
saying
at
it
the
like
time.
most of the
No
stuff he's talking about.
Correct. You are correct. You don't need to explain to people
Like
that.
Pharaoh, the
Yeah,
guy
he's
Pharaoh was
disingenuous.
saying,
Don't even just
none
let
of
him
y'all
talk.
was
He's
here
disingenuous.
during the time of Wagadu or 600 AD. You just going off of oral stories or like written history, whatever. But we in the present, we could accept the past,
Yes,
if it
and
was bad, whatever.
we have
But
to
what are we
learn
doing
history.
now? What are we
We have
doing
to
to build a
learn
future?
history. We have to learn history. Do our best to teach our children so they
But you
shouldn't
don't want to
repeat it.
accept that it was an atrocity. You say, okay, America dropped
Who told
bombs.
you I don't
I ain't
have?
gonna use
How
the B
many
word,
times have
but
you heard me
on
speaking about?
Hiroshima. But do you know
Of
what
course, it
the
was an
Japanese was doing in
atrocity.
China? The rape of Nanking. Do you know the atrocity? Do you remember Pearl Harbor when they destroyed that whole air base?
Man, Pearl Harbor was preemptive action, bro.
I
That's
mean,
not no
you
atrocity,
pseudo
bro.
babble. You
It's
pseudo
a
babble.
war.
The one
You
that's
don't
talking
even know
about
what you're talking
sources.
about.
You going with
But
your
dude,
pseudo babble.
you talking about atrocities. You don't even know the context of what's talking about, bro. You can't
Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. What you
explain any of
talking
the
about?
cast. Explain any of the cast and well-off culture that we talking about. That'll name the so-called
It
quote-unquote
doesn't
slave
matter.
cast.
It
You
doesn't
don't know what
matter.
all right, then why are you commenting on it? You don't know what you're talking
Because it
about.
was mentioned.
You
Y'all
don't know
arguing
whether
about who's the
you
worst
don't know
slave
whether it's
master.
atrocity
Is
or
it
not. You
Mali?
don't
Is it
know whether it's
Wagadu?
atrocity or not because you
It
don't know what
doesn't
you're
matter
talking
who's the
about.
worst slave
You got it,
master.
new caller. You got it upside down. I think.
It doesn't
I think you're
matter
taking
who's
it
the worst slave master.
emotionally.
Nah, but
You're taking
Who's
the
the
shit
biggest killer?
emotionally, bro.
Is it me?
Nah,
Is it
he's
Genghis
not.
Khan?
Dude has
Is
an
it
agenda,
Julius
bro. He
Caesar?
comes on there disingenuous. Like it's not even. I don't
Is
even
that
know
not
why
what
y'all
was
be addressing
mentioned?
him, bro. Just let
Julius
Who
him
is
Caesar
talk.
he?
killed 1 million people. Then
What's his
he
name?
said,
What's
"Oh,
his name?
at
I don't
least he
know
didn't
his
do it in his
name.
own land." At least Julius Caesar didn't kill his own people.
Let me put the mic to Trocon because we got to close out. Go ahead, Trocon.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, when the scripture talk about Israel, right? They talking about the name of Jacob. Jacob
That's
name was
right.
changed. Jacob name was changed to Israel. It wasn't like a place.
It
It's
wasn't a
just his
place.
name.
It was
It wasn't
always
a
a
place.
name.
His
Always.
name was changed to Israel. So that
Well
the
said.
children of Israel was black people. And I got scripture to back that up too, if you want it.
Jano.
Man, get out
Jano.
of here with that pseudo
Hey,
stuff,
yo, yo, yo,
bro.
yo,
What? It
yo,
was
yo,
pseudo.
yo,
Why can't you hear
yo,
what he said?
yo,
That's
yo,
the truth.
I'd rather take the book, I'd rather take the
I
scripture
mean,
than
you didn't even
whatever he
listen
saying.
to him before you concluded
Whatever
that
he
he's
saying,
pseudo.
bro.
Because he
Whatever
just what he
saying
just
is facts.
said. I
Hey,
listened to him.
I'd
It's
rather
regular
take the
nonsense.
scripture.
Well, guys,
That's your
go ahead,
business. That's
Trocon.
your
Let him
problem.
finish.
I'd rather take the scripture than anything you say. Everything you say, that's trash. I don't care for that. I'd rather take God's word. That's he been here longer than everybody. So I'd rather take him over you.
Yeah, that's how I know you think
That's
like
all
a
it is.
European.
I
You
don't
think
think
Oh.
I'm
like a
a
European,
European.
bro. Talking
No,
about
he's not.
God and
How you not? Yo,
using
Stop.
pronouns.
talking
You
about
think
No,
like a
stop.
European.
Angolo, please. Stop that, man. Please.
Let me ask you this,
Jago,
Let him
you
have his
gotta
word.
objectively, you gotta
Angola,
say that's a fact. Putting
Angola. Let me ask you
pronouns to the
this,
creator is European. That's not
No,
Angola.
African.
no. Just let him speak
Why
his
do
speak.
Israel
You
accept the
speak
black
your speak,
Hebrew
and he
Israelites?
will speak his speak.
Because the people that's running Israel is fake Jews too. So of course they would
So how
acknowledge
you gonna prove they
some
fake
other
Jews?
fake
That's
Jews.
pseudo too. Everybody's
But
fake
you like this
except you.
conversation, man.
Bro,
Everybody's fake
Jews,
except you.
the scripture just talk about that. So the scripture is not written by no white man or nothing like that. What you be talking about?
Hey, do you know? Explain to me what the ecumenical
the
councils
scripture
were.
is not written by no
What
That's much
Elijah.
later. That's much
what were the
later.
ecumenical councils? What were the ecumenical councils? Please explain to
I
me.
don't care about nothing we say. That's trash. I rather
Of
take the
course,
He
book.
just
I rather take that
regurgitating
scripture.
Euro babble, pseudo babble,
that Euro Babel, they created that book
pseudo
that he's
babble.
reading. So
You live in America.
they canonized the Euro Babel
You ain't even in
canonized that book
Africa,
you talking
man.
about.
When you gonna go back to Africa and preach your pseudo
I'm
babble?
already going back.
You in America right now,
I got
speaking
3
your
more
pseudo
weeks.
babble.
I got 3 more weeks.
Who's the biggest
Yeah.
slave master, Mali or
When you
Ouagadougou?
get there, make sure you call. Make sure
Who's
you
the
call
better
in,
slave
bro.
master? Who's the better slave master, Angola, Ouagadougou or Mali? Who's better?
Neither.
Hey, hold on, guy. Hey, Trocon, do you believe in the story of Noah?
Yes.
Yes, I believe everything the scripture say. I believe everything. From
So you
Genesis to
believe in the
Revelation, I
story?
believe
So you
everything.
believe in the story of Noah?
It's true.
He
Yes, I
just
believe in the
answered.
story
He's
of Noah.
answered.
I believe that's how I'm trying to make it easy for you. I believe on
It's absolutely true.
that's God.
Hey, where
I
are
believe
you
in God.
from, brother? Where are you from?
Liberia.
Why
That's
is
where
that?
I'm from.
Oh man, you from the
What are you
continent
talking
talking about
about?
this, bro?
It's absolutely true.
You are ashamed to your ancestors, bro.
No,
You
it's
are
not,
ashamed to your
man.
ancestors, bro.
I don't care about no ancestor. I care more
You
about God
ashamed
and
of your
scripture.
ancestors,
I don't
bro.
You
care.
said it. You
You
said
are a
it. Don't say it
disgrace.
Ancestors
again.
ain't do
You
nothing
said
for
it 3
me.
or 4 times. It's all right, Gongolo.
Nah, it gotta sink in.
God did
Nah.
everything for me. I don't care about no ancestor. God the one
God have made
that do
everything
everything
for
for me.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
All right.
saying.
God is the
Everything you
reason
say
we
is
got a
trash.
son. Hey, Angola, who created the
Man,
sun?
y'all are
Angola,
smoking good crack, bro.
No,
Angola,
it's
who
not.
made the
Yo,
sun?
I dare you. No, hold on. I dare you to
Who
take
made
the
the
I
sun?
scripture.
don't know
Angola, do
why
you
we're
know?
arguing. I just
Man,
don't know why.
get out of here,
Why did you
bro.
turn it
Do
into an
your
argument?
ecumenical
He rather believe in
sources
the
to tell me
trash.
about the
He
sun?
rather
Man,
Why
believe
did
in
you
some
turn
bro.
it
All
into
trash.
an
right,
Where
bro.
did
argument?
the sun come from?
We've
Nah,
hardly
I'm
heard
gonna
what the
He
guy
saying
had to say.
trash.
Be it wrong or
Explain it,
right.
Angola.
What you talking about?
Explain
Ain't
the
no history of
sun.
no
Where did it
slavery.
come from?
No white man ain't write no book. I get a
Yes,
white
he
man write a
did.
book against him.
That
What are
white
you
man
talking about?
canonized that book for you to read it
That's
in
a
English
lie. That's a
today.
King
Now
lie.
you
James
talking
was a
about
black
Jesus.
man.
That's a lie. White man don't
King
write no
James
book.
wasn't a white man.
How can a white man
King,
write a book
hold
against him?
on. Stop.
How can a white man write a
Oh,
book against him?
Troker, I said stop.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on.
My bad.
What'd you say, Em?
I said King James was a black man.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
His name, you can look at, look.
We
I
got
can prove it to you. I can prove it to you. He has his picture in the
You want
1611 King
Dennis to
James
shut this
Bible.
shit down, man.
His picture's in the Bible. He's a black man. You can look it
Oh,
up.
shut up.
He has
Shut
his
up,
own.
man.
His illustration is inside the Bible.
This is black. This is black
How about
Americans.
this? Let me
These
show
is
you.
black
If
Americans
King
for you.
James,
This is an
King
if King,
James
actual
black
Bible. You
man.
can look it up right now.
wait. Please
What an
hold on a
idiot.
minute. Please hold on a minute. If King James was a black man, and I'm not saying he was this or that, if he was a black man, then do you know that his Bible poisoned the whole world and allowed slavery to take place
Actually,
as
the
a black
Pope
man?
did. The Pope is the Catholic.
Yeah, they're all connected.
King James was not under the Catholic. He's a Protestant. He has
Oh
Martin
dear
Luther
me.
separated from the Catholic
Oh
Church.
dear me, bro. Oh dear me.
The Pope Nicholas ordained slavery. It wasn't King James. It was the Catholic Church. Papa
Bro,
Bull dumbed the
this is the
verses.
Twilight Zone, bro. You got an African on
You
here
know all of
talking
the
about Jesus.
sources, but you don't know that.
You got an African on here talking about Jesus, and you got somebody that claims
I'll
to
tell
be
you
black
what.
American talking about some King James
I'll
is
tell you
black.
what.
We in the
Angola, tell me
Twilight
this.
Zone, bro.
Angola, tell me this. Who is Saint Maurice?
Saint Mauritius.
Saint Maurice. Who is he?
Saint Maurice is synonymous.
What did he do?
He was in North Africa. He was a patron
No, he's a
saint.
German. He was German.
He was an Egyptian. He was an
In North
Egyptian. He was part of the Theban Legion. He was a Roman general from Egypt.
So what's
if he was an Egyptian, if he was an Egyptian, Maurice could not have been his name. Maurice,
name is
anything
Maurice.
like that.
It's Mauritius.
Look his name. Look him up.
That's a Roman word. That's a
Yeah, I
Roman.
know.
He was a Roman
That's
general.
what they call it.
The meaning
And
black,
he's depicted in
the black one.
Switzerland right now as a black man.
How does
Right
that? What does
now,
that have to
Maurice,
do with King James? And what does that
because
have to
it's
do with white people canonizing the Bible?
because what's his name? Africa said earlier that he saw a documentary documentary that showed the Roman general was a black
You
man
know
that
nothing
conquered
about the
England.
Bible. I said
So
what
it
the
was
Bible.
black people all over Europe. That's why King James is black.
It was
Oh my
something that
God, bro.
Africa verified it earlier.
What
It was
you
because of the
read?
Roman
Ancient and
Empire.
Modern Britons? You read the book Ancient and Modern Britain, bro. Y'all are pseudo
I
crazy,
didn't read
bro.
that book.
You rather believe in
Pseudo
some
One
crazy.
second.
book
Jagon
when
and
the
two
But
book
you
Niger,
says
know
we don't
everything.
believe in the book.
Africa said it
Durham?
earlier
Yeah,
that
do you know
he saw a
Durham? Do you know
documentary where
Durham?
the Roman
I can't
generals
hear nothing,
conquered
man. I
England.
can't hear nothing.
You
I can
believe
hear
in
my
I
name
know, I
being
know.
the
called,
village. They believe
but
in
I
I know.
can't hear nothing.
Do you know? I know. Do you know Durham? To count
history.
Durham
They
in the
always
north
give
of
some
England.
women too much credit. They
Durham,
give
yes,
women
of
way
course.
too much
Yeah,
credit.
Durham. Do you
You
know
don't
there's a
read, so
village
you
in
don't
Durham?
know.
One second, guys. There's a village in Durham, in north of England. One out of 6 people that you count there are actually
No, we lost
Your
him.
mic went out. It was Jesus.
You see.
sorry, my bad.
This is serious discussion right now.
My bad.
I
Yeah, one
rather
second.
believe in Jesus than I ain't talking about the
One.
white Jesus
Man,
you be
look,
talking about.
bro.
I
Tell
rather believe in
Look,
Jesus in
that
your
white boy
village.
on the stick. Where was that
No, I
white
ain't talking
boy
about
on the
that
stick
Jesus.
during
That ain't no
slavery,
Jesus.
man?
I don't believe in
What
that.
white
That
boy
ain't
on the
no
stick? What are you
Jesus.
talking about?
That white boy ain't
The
no
Jesus
Jesus. I
they
don't
be
believe in
talking
that.
about.
I
sorry.
don't believe in
So
that Jesus.
Ngolo,
one out.
I believe
Ngolo,
in the real Jesus.
Ngolo.
But
Wait,
Do
but
you
wait.
do you
Ngolo,
do
you don't know what you're
you
talking about. You
accept?
talking to,
Wait, calm down.
you
Do
don't know
you
what you're
accept
talking about. You see somebody believe
that,
in some white Jesus?
you know,
Come on.
wrongly or
You don't
rightly?
know nothing about that book.
All
Okay.
right, bro. All right, bro.
Okay. All
Wrongly
right.
or rightly,
Listen.
Ngolo. Wrong.
Jagun.
Wait.
My
Please
bad.
wait. Please
Okay,
wait.
I'll come after you. Go. Go on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Do you know, Ngolo, that a good, I don't know, 50% of the black world is Christian? And are you going to just name call all of them and tell them that they're following white man and point finger? Is that how you're going to
They,
do it?
but Jagoon, they are. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah,
pointing the
yeah,
finger. I just don't deal with
wait,
them
let me.
seriously.
I
I'm
mean,
asking Ngolo.
but Jagoon, we don't even produce our own Bibles.
Facts.
No, I understand all that. Wait.
Ethiopian.
That is not what I'm asking.
Donis.
I'm not asking from a black power point of view. I'm asking from a point of view is right now with Ngolo not allowing somebody to come and speak because of what he's saying. Is that how he's
Right.
treating half of the world?
Can I
Is that how
finish?
you?
Can I finish what I was
Yeah,
saying?
yes,
Angola.
it needs to be drowned out.
Angola.
The nonsense needs to be drowned
Tell
out.
me this.
But nah, he can speak
That's why
though.
You ain't gonna do
that's
it the
why
way
Angola,
I
He
tell
you
can
me
say
this.
speak
the
though.
solution it is.
What type of Christian
Anyway,
was Saint Maurice?
They believe in all
the
types of
point.
stuff on the
Listen.
What type
I
of
African
think he was
Christian
a
was he?
monophysite.
That's why
He
they
was
in the
a
position they in.
Coptic, a
Because you're
Coptic Christian.
Yeah, a
hypocrite.
monophysite
They
Coptic.
rather believe
Yeah,
in some
that's
He
Gucci
a
ass
wasn't
Coptic.
a
religion.
Anglo. He wasn't
Because
a,
you're
think
a
that guy,
hypocrite.
Catholic.
that poor guy, his
This
voice
was
is so weak
before. This
we
was
can hardly
before the
hear
Roman
him.
Empire adopted Christianity.
Everybody is
Jagun, stop
talking.
it.
It
Leave
was
him
way
alone. Leave him
before
alone.
Caesar Borgia.
Leave him alone, man.
Christianity
Leave him
The
didn't
alone.
Holy
start from the
Roman
Roman
Empire is
Empire.
not the same as the Roman Empire
It's
that
my
you
like
speaking
Durham,
of.
brother. It's like yeah. So in County Durham in the UK, there's 1 out of 6 person in the village is directly related to a former Roman general who was an African guy. So you're right. There used to be a lot of military generals during the Roman Empire in the UK, and these were the
Yeah.
people who were part of it.
Bath was crazy. It was all crazy. It all started
Yeah,
with them, the Romans entering
Bath,
into
Bath. Yes,
Britain.
that's it.
No, they
Yeah,
had a
that's
lot
it.
of Nubian, and they had a lot of Nubian and conscript and
Yeah,
quote unquote Ethiopian conscripts in the armies.
right. Yes.
You talking about
Absolutely.
conscripts? You
But
had
for
people
people
that
to
was actually controlled in the armies.
act like these people was just leading the Roman culture, that's just nonsense. It didn't
See,
happen
I'm
like
gonna
that.
tell you this. Do you know
Some of them were
about the
leaders.
Roman
Some of them were
province of
leaders.
Africa?
No,
Some of
they
them were
were.
leaders.
I'm saying leading Roman culture as far as
Tell
like
me,
being
Or the culture.
Angola. You know
being the
No, the
everything.
center.
culture was mixed.
Angola,
It
you
was
know
a mixed
everything,
culture.
right?
I agree.
Tell me
No,
about the
it
Roman
was
province of Africa.
predominantly white.
Tell me about the Roman province of Africa.
What do you want to
T-
know
The
about
Roman
Afrikaners?
province, that
tell me about it.
What do you want to know
Libya.
about it? They came it was through multiple wars with Carthage. They came and they
It
had
was
the tip.
established after the destruction
Libya,
of
Tunisia.
Carthage by Julius Caesar. He had
Brother,
2 Africas. It was Africa
this
Nova,
is
Africa
common
Vetru,
knowledge, brother. This is common
and it
knowledge.
was full of black people. You got Saint
That's
Augustine of
not
Hippo.
true. That's not true. That's
The
not
center.
true.
Listen, at this time, the center of the Roman Empire moved from Rome to North Africa.
Was Hannibal Barca
This is
a
after he was
sub-Saharan
destroyed. This is
African?
way after. He was in
No,
Carthage.
I'm asking you though. This no, I shouldn't even be asking you this. I know what you're gonna say yes because you're a pseudo.
What are you
from
As
asking?
simple
What
as
you
that,
talking about?
Bongolo. It's as simple as that, Ngolo.
Yeah, I
Julius
already know what
Caesar.
he's. I shouldn't even be. I
Julius
don't
You're a
know why I'm
funny
Caesar
guy, my
entertaining.
brother. You're a
created
funny
the
guy.
term Africa when he rebuilt Carthage.
This is
And it was the
common
center
knowledge.
of the Roman. You had the Roman province of Africa, Roman province of Egypt right next to each other. You had the Roman Empire in Rome. Then you had the Byzantine Empire under Justinian later on. So you had three different sections of the Roman Empire, but Africa
Let me
was
show
the
you.
main
Let
one.
me show you something. Let me show you something. And it's not to say I agree with anybody on the panel, but let me just show you something. I lived in Spain for 10 years, and in those 10 years, I traveled the whole of Europe, especially Spain and Portugal. And in these travels, I saw the complexion difference from the north of Spain to the southern Spain, and it wasn't the sun. It was not the sun.
Yes.
You can see clearly that these people are mixed differently. They're mixed.
Thank you.
They're
The
mixed.
southern
No, but
Spain, you're
they've been
right.
Southern
The
God
Spain
bless
has
southern
you.
been
Spain,
had
they
waves of
have a
mixture
lot of
though. They've
North
been mixing
African
for
Thank you,
thousands of
Douglas.
years.
ancestry.
It's not only that they've been
Hey,
mixed.
guys, let V talk, and we gotta close out. Go ahead, V.
No, I was going to agree with Jogun that in southern Spain and Portugal, they have a lot of North African ancestry. North African ancestry, not the current North African ancestry, the ancient North
Absolutely,
African ancestry.
absolutely.
The current North African ancestry, they have more Levantine, Turk, and all that mix in there. But the southern Spain and Portugal, they have the ancient North African ancestry that went there. They still hold their ancestry there. So some of them are very dark skin, like mixed race and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's true.
People
We
people from
already
the
talked
Levant
about it.
have been coming to the Iberian Peninsula for thousands of years though. They've had the
But
Levantine.
are you saying, Ngolo, that those people that were coming, that they were more European in their look than
No,
African?
they look like people from the Levant.
They're the same people now that are there now.
Yes, relatively.
Nah,
Yes,
man.
yes,
No,
now,
bro.
yes,
No, man. No, man.
yes,
No, man.
yes.
You can say
The
yes as
people
much as
in
you
the
like
Levant,
with your
the
pseudo
people in
shit,
the
but
Levant,
it's rubbish.
Okay,
Because people
objectively,
move.
in the seventh
There has
century.
been
all
major
I ask,
migration. It's
all
what
I
you
ask
miss
is,
out. Unfortunately, Ngolo, it's what you miss out in all your rhetoric. All your rhetoric doesn't accept that people, the majority of people that are in West Africa right now, have moved there. They have all been nomadic people, all of us.
when
And
did I ever
you see
say that
them.
that was to the contrary of that? I never said that that wasn't the case.
Well, you speak as though that's not the case because a
No,
lot of
I
the
no. See,
wait, let me
this is
finish. Let me finish lambasting you. The north of Africa was largely African. The north of it
Yes.
was largely African.
Mm.
It wasn't the people that are there now. The people that are there now are newcomers. They're
Yeah,
newcomers.
that's
I'm
true.
not saying that's
I'm
not
telling
the
you,
case.
it's
I
the
didn't
case,
say
my
that wasn't
friend.
the case.
But it
I
is the
didn't, but
case, and you're
again,
not
I did not.
accepting
I
that.
never said that wasn't the case.
It's your lack of acceptance of that that gives your own history purview a
Again,
sickening
you're making
connotation.
assumptions and presuppositions
It's a
that I
great
never said
assumption.
or stated.
It's a great assumption.
No, it's not a great assumption because
It is,
I'm not
bro.
going to say I know that there was population replacement, especially from the Green Sahara
But why
period.
don't you
But that's an
include that?
extremely long time ago. This is way before the period that y'all are talking about. So
No, it's not,
that's what
bro.
I'm talking. If
You
you're
know, if
talking
you
about
go
the
to Spain,
Levant,
bro,
the
I'll tell
sister
you this.
brought up people from the Levant
Let me show you
going
why
into
I
North
spoke
Africa.
about. Let me show you why I spoke about Europe and the Mediterranean. If you go to any
Your mic went out. But what the sister was talking about, people going to the Levant, the North Africans of
you
today
would
being
see.
more Levantine. People in
Let
the
me
Levant
finish.
have been
Please,
going up
please
to
let me finish.
that
Please let me finish. Please let
Iberian
me
Peninsula. Oh,
finish.
my bad. Your
Have
mic
some
went out.
decorum.
Your
Have some
mic went
decorum.
out.
All I'm saying is from Turkey, if you travel from Turkey all the way to Portugal, you would see clearly pure depictions, antiquated depictions of African, the black African, right across. Especially if you go to the island territories like Corsica, like Sardinia, like Malta. If you go to these places, bruh, you can see who were the real original seafarers in that region. And they were all African looking, all of them. But you think it's some antiquated thing that we can't even speak about, we have no memory of. Why do you speak like that?
I did. When did I see? Again, you're still
No,
presupposing stuff
why
I
do you
never
speak like
stated.
that, bro? You speak as
That's an
though
assumption.
it's
I'm
not an
saying
assumption, it's an assumption
time
based on what
period
you
that y'all
say.
are talking about, the time periods that y'all are talking about is not the case. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, of
What
course,
time period are we talking
there's
about?
documented
What time period?
population replacement within Europe and the Eurasian steppe of the Yamnaya people genetically. They went and replaced the quote unquote darker melanated populated people, melanated phenotypical people that were in Europe. What people would call Grimaldi,
Would you accept
with
this?
that font, but
See
they
if you
still,
would accept.
even phenotypically though, they still wasn't.
Oh,
They didn't
okay.
look like us though.
All right, as far as you're concerned, all right. Would you accept that the first and original Vikings were black? Would you accept
No,
that?
that's nonsense.
All right, fair enough. Then I just know where you are.
I don't know about that.
Because you
No,
said
do you know
so.
why? Do you know why?
No, it's nonsense because there's nothing.
Because
there's
you said so.
There's
All right,
no,
all right.
There's
All right,
no,
all right.
there's no
All right.
attested sources that would
All right, attested
tend to
sources.
that,
Thank you,
yield to
thank
that
you,
being the case.
thank you, thank you. We know your rhetoric. Now, I'm telling you, Africa, without paying just to go and research it to the depths as to where the Vikings came from originally, and they came from the other side of Asia. They didn't come from Europe. They traveled there. If you look at what the Vikings did in England, do you know the first thing that they were teaching the English people to do is to bathe? Do you know how many women forgot their English white man and went with the Vikings because they were of a different they weren't European. The original ones of them were not European as me and you would look at it. This is what I'm saying. The amount of lies that have been laden upon this planet that we take up and start talking about pseudo or start talking about you need a peer review, and we start speaking like that. When we start speaking like that, then we know who is accepting lies and who isn't.
You're not gonna talk with me, Jago. So where did the Vikings originate from?
They originated originally from like the other side of Europe. They traveled over.
From where?
It wasn't one region exactly. There
They're
was a collective.
Scandinavians, if I'm not mistaken.
They're Scandinavians today. They're Scandinavians today, but they're
like Norse. They're like Norse Scandinavian, like the north, as north as you can get.
Yeah, Norsemen. Now
I don't know about that. So I will have to research it. I have to research it.
I'm under the impression that the Vikings never
existed. You see, the thing is, the thing is, as much as I or anybody else may come on and deliver information that we may or may not have heard of before, doesn't cancel it. It means that you, who are ignorant of these facts, would need to go and do some research.
That's not fact, but it's not factual.
No, it's according to you, but you're nobody special to think about when it comes to history. You're not my provider for history. I can read, so therefore I do that, as opposed to coming here to listening to Uhuru talking rubbish about
again, we asked you where they came from. You said the other side of Europe, or Asia. What did that mean?
No, I didn't say that. I said the other side of Asia. They came like from Iran, that kind of area.
Gee, stop it,
brother.
There is some merit to that. There is some as far as the inception. There's merit to them being
brother Ngolo.
The Eurasian steppe.
Brother Ngolo, as much as I may say and talk rubbish in terms of what I say about you, I respect you. I respect you as somebody who kind of really digs deep and wants to know what he's talking about, as opposed to talking pure and unadulterated rubbish. I respect what you're saying. What I'm saying is that this planet has been a total movement. The Australians, the original Australians that we call Aborigines today, they got there. They didn't come out of the ground. They got there. They traveled there. You understand? So we look how far Australia is. Look how far away it is from Africa. Look at the routes that they say they took to get there. That's the other side of the world completely. So somehow it's too difficult for us to think that we as Africans who populated the whole planet, we were the ones who populated this whole planet. We were the first everywhere in the world. For us to think Vikings are blonde. Vikings are these.
You know what I find interesting?
But they still they originated from the Caspian steppe, but that doesn't make them black, brother. That's crazy to say that.
Angola, I find this interesting.
I'm not telling you that you're crazy.
You tried to discount Abu Bakr going to the Americas by saying that he was somehow killed by Mansa Musa, because that's one piece of evidence that people use to say that West Africans could have possibly made it to Americas.
That's
before.
not why I said that. I said I prefaced my statement by saying that's an extrapolation. It's not a historical fact. I said it sounds like it due to the context of there being succession disputes during that period, bro. Jude is a dumb, bro. You are so dumb. You are an idiot.
I don't think we need to critique that. I like that. I like when Ngolo said that.
No,
because
it's not. You're an idiot.
Oh dear.
Because you want to discount evidence, documented evidence that they went on ships to the Americas. You saying it was fake because you have no proof
I didn't say that. I said I extrapolated due to the context. That's not a historical fact.
Not something that's documented. Extrapolate.
I said I extrapolated that from the story. Again, I didn't say that's a historical fact. I'm not like you. I don't make up stuff.
I wouldn't attack a story that
you're an idiot.
Scholars already use that story. You want to just jump up and say it's fake with no evidence whatsoever, and nobody checked it.
I said but by the context, because there was succession disputes
whatsoever.
There was succession disputes in chronological order. I said it would be. I extrapolated that it could have been
so.
they killed him. I didn't say that's not a historical
fact. You didn't prove nothing. You start claiming that Mali was a worse slave master than a Ouagadougou.
You don't even, bro. You don't even know. You don't even know about Ouagadougou, bro. The only reason you just started using that term is because you just heard it on it.
You said you say Mali is a worse slave master than them, and you say Ghana was a better slave trader than Mali.
I don't use the term Ghana.
You said Ghana, whoever Ouagadougou, Ghana, they not as bad as Mali. They didn't do as much damage.
They weren't as far as them
participated. So either or, they both are bogus.
I don't care what your opinion is towards that. Though that's a subjective opinion. You can't. There's no way to empirically prove that, and you definitely are not qualified.
It is evidence. They both participated.
You don't know anything about the culture. You don't even know the area. You can't even name the area where it occurred. You're an idiot.
Regardless of that, they both are equally involved in slavery. None is better than the other. You said that they're not as bad. It's not that bad.
Okay. I mean, let's
y'all heard the discussion.
Give him a cookie.
I gotta read this super chat real quick now. Let's see here. Ja Enzola, thank you for 99 holla. I encourage y'all to look into the EM78 paternal haplogroup group among the Niger Congo speaking peoples of the Nuba Mountains. It may point to a northeastern African origin or some Niger Congo groups. Boom. All right, guys. Everyone, thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, dynasty, search for peace.